Welcome back.
We here. Thank you, guests.
Are we hearing that? What just happened?
And your face.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh my
what
god!
You have something in your grip. You don't know what it is.
okay.
It's a different invisible thing with fingers.
It was far away
No, wait, no, but
You
the
think
other
it's
one wasn't
been a thing the whole
slimy.
time?
All right, everyone. In Season 2, Chapter 34, No Crane, No Game. Graven spent some time during our rest enjoying the fortified feeling that his new powers afforded him. Capabilities that would be of the utmost importance if he ever needed to do battle with another cleric, or resist the will of the divine. Leaving behind a thankful owlbear who now had the temple to himself, we set out knowing that our spellcasters were running on fumes, so it was important to be mindful of any dangerous engagements as we kept progressing east in the hopes of arriving at the isthmus with time to spare. Fortunately, the next signs of life weren't threats at all, but rather a group of initiates practicing forms within one of the many abandoned dwellings scattered throughout the woods. Studying the newly established way of the closed foot, these monks were of mixed competence, but showed bravery by training in such a hostile environment. Their leader challenged us to a kind of exhibition match to demonstrate the technique, where Erland quickly bested him, imparting some wisdom of his own about readiness and vigilance. For our efforts, we received another spell scroll to add to our growing collection, along with some useful intel about hazards and landmarks in the surrounding area. Believing we were fast approaching the Sagging Caverns of shitlist fame, we were sidetracked when Safira spotted a curiously dapper owl who seemed to be following us through the forest. Using some Speak with Animals magic, she learned that the owl was a former warden of the Ackley Grove, just like the tortoise contained within her wild ordnance weapon. As a woodland guardian who disapproved of the raiding activity on the peninsula, the hooting Scooter the Astute was loath to ask humans for help, but he had a problem he could not solve alone, and the bond of trust between Safira and her spirits was enough to grant her the benefit of the doubt. In a nearby hollow, brigands had imprisoned an Ebley with the intent to bully it into domestication, and it was Scooter's wish that the creature be freed as soon as possible. To keep the bandits out, the owl had inflicted the tunnels with a curse that required specific gestures in response to sounds, so that anyone going inside would have to contend with both hostile magic and an angry 7-foot bird. As the healthiest among us, Safira and Graven entered the cave while Orba and Erland kept watch, and after nearly disturbing a nest of ice spiders on their way through, we reached a dead end and found the distressed Ebley locked in an iron cage. Not knowing that they were there to help, the bird squawked and nipped at us repeatedly, causing us to almost miss the calls of warning coming from outside. Scooter brought our attention to 3 approaching bandits whose attire suggested they were there to fetch the Ebly, meaning that we needed to hasten our exit and hope that Erland and Orba would get the drop on them while hiding in the branches overhead. Orba summoned a cloud of darkness that sent them into a fit of panic, and despite their leader proving to be quite elusive, they'd come unprepared for a fight, and they were grossly outmatched. It was only seconds later that they made the decision to abandon their mission, but Graven, emerging from the hollow as an escort to the bird, unleashed a potent guiding bolt that ensured one corpse would stay behind as a warning to the others. Scooter was grateful, and so too was the Ebony, who lent its broken spirit to Safira's bow. And as we said our final farewells, we agreed that taking on the Sagging Caverns today might be biting off more than we could chew, as we vowed to do little more than scout ahead before finding a spot to make camp. We wondered, how would the favor we'd garnered among the wildlife here come to help us in the days that followed? Were we reaching the point where Graven's sending spell would be an unreliable method of communication?
No.
And while rummaging through the Sagging Caverns for rare plants, would we be able to avoid another incident like the one at the Huskoob wagon?
Oh my god.
We find out now,
It's fine.
on Season 2, Chapter 35 of A Peek Beneath You.
What are you doing, Sagging Caverns?
That's what goes on in the Sagging Caverns, bro.
Oh, gross.
An early rise to investigate the outpost in the lanes is a distant memory at this point. A hard pivot from raiding bandit stores to purging temple guardians, and yet another reminder that when it comes to the deepest parts of the Antisuyu wilderness, abandoning plans and changing course is not a weakness, it's a necessity for survival. It felt good to do good in assisting the former warden, but it's left the party feeling drained. And the closer you get to the shore, the more you step with hesitation, not wanting to overextend, given this rare occurrence where you actually have a little bit of time to spare for now. Another 30-45 minutes, and the land proves Mr. Lauriston Peel to be an honest man. In the distance, you start to see trees tilted off their axis, and roots pried loose from the compact forest floor. The trunks are actually good indicators of where the ground might be the least and most stable, and it does look like you could forge a snaking path through that keeps you out of any sinkholes or loose earth if you chart your course very carefully. That is, of course, if you even want to avoid the hazardous terrain. The last of the Nesbit contracts lies somewhere within these depressions, though the conditions for victory seem less obvious. Are the rare plants and druidic talismans simply there for the taking if one can slip into the caverns unnoticed? Or must one brave the sturges and fight their way inside to collect any spoils of substance? These are the questions that we consider as the last hour or so of remaining daylight starts to slip away. So you've been traveling for about an hour since you left the cave with the Ebly, which leaves probably another hour before you can set down for another long rest to get the benefits of a long rest. So you can see far in the distance is where those trees start to kind of, some of them are tilted, some of them are falling, you can see roots uprooted, and that's not right where you are right now, but it's off there in the distance. So if you get closer, you start to get in the area where Lauriston Peel described as some of these sinkholes and caverns that have sort of happened from erosion underneath.
Do you have the shitless contract? Sorry. Perfect.
I wish we could just rest here. We can't just do that, can we? I'm really fucking tired.
This does not seem like a good place to do
No,
that.
I know it's not, but I could fall asleep right now.
Well, it seems safer than where we know there's danger.
Right, but it's not. We're too close to it here. And I get the sense that nobody wants to take this on right now.
No, I don't.
no.
I don't think we should.
I think we should scout it, even if we have to backtrack in the early hours. We should keep moving along.
You think we should
East.
go a little bit past it, then we can go back if we should need to?
Yes, we know where we're headed now.
I like that.
What exactly does the contract say?
Okay, so it says it's a big hole in the ground.
Right.
It also
right.
says there's ruined remains of a small watchtower nearby.
Okay.
There's witherbloom pledges, strigoi, and assassin vines.
Ugh.
We could get some tinctures and talismans and plants.
Talismans.
Assassin
Areas prone
vines.
to sinkholes. Strigoi are terrible pests. that
Oh,
travel
that's
long
right.
distances
This was
when
the
they're appearing in great
sinkholes
number.
one.
Yeah. So the only solace I can give you all is I have maybe just enough energy at the end of the day to set up an alarm spell. It'll take some time. I'll be slow at it, but...
Yeah, that would be brilliant.
So no matter where we stay, there is a small level of security.
Given that there are sinkholes, I don't think we should try and scout. I think we should backtrack from here, even.
Wait, what?
To rest. I don't think we should, as the Goliath said, move forward and scout, because if there's a sinkhole, we could get into trouble, and none of us are particularly strong at this moment.
Move forward and around. Can we not sort of...
We came from the south towards, like, we were traveling north.
You were traveling kind of northeast, yeah. So you're coming from the southwest a little bit.
If we rest here, if we set up an alarm spell,
Here.
it's in the distance, right? Like it's
Yeah. Like you can see where the trees are, but you've stopped once you kind of saw that the trees were sort of shifting in there.
If we find a safe place, even if we have to rest a little bit longer, I think that's worth it, rather than approaching and one of us getting caught in a sinkhole and having to use a spell and then not being able to send or something awful.
This alarm spell, you can't make a giant radius around us. This is like if we were in a cave, you could do the mouth of the cave, right?
No, it's pretty contained. Orba's gonna get out her spellbook because she's never cast it before and can't remember anything about it.
As she's doing that, I want to look around the area to see if I see any places that seem particularly sheltered.
Sure. Give me a survival check.
Is there a noise just
Did you
then
hear
of a
a
snapping
Did
twig?
you hear a snapping twig?
Was it in the
In
track?
the music?
Yes.
Was that on
Was that
purpose?
planned?
What is it? Tell us what it is.
Was it the
Oh! Natural 20.
I assumed that was a natural 20.
Ooh, 7!
You won't believe
11, better
Would
than
never
10.
believe it.
Over average. As you give a look around, you can see a lot of, sort of in this search of a suitable area to give your legs a break, give your shoulders a break from carrying things. The usual elements stand out to you. There's some rocky outcroppings, some small clearings within some denser thickets. Nothing like a true cave that is like fully enclosed, but certainly spots that would provide a degree of obscurity from prying eyes. Like if you didn't light a fire or have an illuminated light, as it turns into the evening hours, it would be very, very difficult to see you from a distance, unless something happened upon you accidentally. There's a couple spots you see, like a little area of rock that's kind of in a U shape that you could kind of nestle into, or some thicker brush that if you kind of got into the middle of it, the only things that could see you is something above you. So there's a couple of suitable points.
The rock something couldn't see me from above?
No, because it's not a cave, so there's no roof.
They walked right over the top.
Hello?
But a more solid bit, like nothing's gonna walk through the rocks, where something could run through the brush,
right.
like not knowing you were there if they just, trekked through the brush.
Okay.
Okay, so this is like super cool. So it's no larger than a 20-foot cube. So if I can designate that you all, as you come and go from it, you do not set off the alarm, but anything else from size small to large, if they step foot in it, you can do it so that it audibly creates a sound that everybody hears. I don't know if that's the right move for us. It can just like kind of ping my little noggin and it'll wake me up
Okay.
if I'm sleeping.
Yeah, that seems good. That seems ready. What do we think about these? And I'm gonna kind of indicate the rocks so that we can kind of...
like a couple suitable areas potentially.
What do we think about this?
Each of them look all right. I just, again, I imagine that this alarm spell, it's not going to protect us from all angles, which
Well, no, that's
we
why I like
approach
the
from.
rocks,
cube.
because it can be...
A cube is all angles.
Yeah, it's like a cube.
You
It's a
want that
space.
alarm to go off as something is 10 feet away from you. You think that's worth it?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty close, Graven.
That's,
That's like right here.
if we're in, exactly,
think
that's
that's
what
what
I'm
he's
saying.
Oh.
If we all
We are in the middle of a 20-foot cube.
If we all
One of us is on
Oh.
watch and can see 10 feet in front of ourselves.
Well, yeah, but what if we're... I suppose that would be
but
better.
over top or something from behind. If it
Also,
won't, then
what if we're
I
really
don't know about
tired
you
and
guys,
we miss
but I've
something?
totally fallen asleep during my watch before. So
I think that's happened to
All right.
everyone.
I'm
so-
just,
Never.
I'm just warning you that
All right.
if this goes off, that means that something is on top of us.
well, or invisible.
Well, that's not...
In addition to.
is there any downside to using this spell?
No.
No,
Then,
then why
what's
not?
the problem?
Why
Then
I-
fuck me.
I thought you were arguing to set it up somewhere not right on top of you. Was that not what you were saying?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I thought you were just saying don't use it at all.
Yeah.
Oh. Can you reword it as Graven, please? Can you rephrase?
Try again.
Try again.
We here. Threat here. Cube here. Threats all around.
Well, then what do you want to do with it? Do you want to put it in a place where you think the threat is most likely to come? Because we've got this little semicircle of rocks kind of thing, so then would you want to put it in front of the rocks? We could do that.
Or perhaps, we could put the cube on the sleeping folk, and the person watching could be 20 feet away to sort of get a better view.
There we go.
Brilliant. Can you do it multiple times? On the side of Graven's mouth.
I don't think so.
All right, never mind. Never mind.
Wait, is it concentration actually? If not, then
It's not. You could
Oh,
set
shit.
up lots of them.
yeah.
Are you talking
I
about doing it
could-
like ritually, like 10 minutes?
Yeah, well, I need 10 minutes to cast it, and it lasts 8 hours. So
All right, then my counteroffer is to then do at least maybe 2 on different sides of us.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Do you understand?
Yes, that's very good.
That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
That seemed like, I mean, look, we could
Yeah,
look
no.
for tracks, we could look for, well, you know,
No,
travel
I like
paths around the area that we're in,
Okay.
Yeah.
and those will be in addition to hopefully not a sleeping watch.
I don't know if I can make the alert go off in my head and determine which of the 2 alarms is crossed. So it really will just be like be on alert kind of thing, not there's somebody coming from over there.
They don't make different tones of bells.
That'd be great, though. That would be sick. What a high security system.
Yeah.
And as well as the fact that it could be both a invisible assassin or a squirrel.
Well, small. So I think the squirrel's too small.
Okay.
Oh my
Is
god.
it
Not
tiny or larger creature?
Oh, it's tiny. Oh, okay.
Oh shit. You're
Could be a squirrel.
It couldn't be like a
Right.
bug or something, could it?
How's big the bug?
Tiny is larger than bug. Bug is like
Minuscule.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
There are no big bugs in
A
this world.
squirrel would set it off. A big ass bug of which
I'm gonna start again.
Big ass squirrels. Okay.
All is to say that I'm not against using such a resourceful and thank you guests.
Are we hearing that?
What was that sound? Erland looking around. Erland's looking
Yeah,
around.
we're all stopping.
We all stopped.
Noises of the forest.
God damn it.
What are you doing?
You guys are still walking and talking.
Yep.
But looking around now too.
That is all to say that in addition to this wonderful new spell that we will be using, thank you,
Okay, yes.
to still be vigilant on your watch because it is not a
No, of
catch-all.
course. Of course.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot to mention, if you cross the threshold, you also take an exceeding amount of damage. You get
Wait, hang on.
really messed up.
Ah, yes.
Oh, yes, of course.
Like,
Remember when that
I
almost happened to
forgot
us at
about-
the bandit camp?
It
Oh,
did
yes.
almost, yes.
Yeah.
And I forgot about that. But
Really
it was
messes
really,
you up.
Yeah, really messes you up.
Make a deception check.
Oh my god.
I didn't roll any of these before the show. Deception.
That's fine.
That's good.
22.
Oh!
Never rolling a die again.
You've deceived the leaves and the twigs nearby.
Deceive the leaves.
And yourself a little bit.
Leave deceiver.
Okay.
For a second, the other 3 are like, "Does alarm?"
We're like, wait a minute.
Alright, so
well,
this
then is it
rocky
worth-
area?
I like it. I don't know. How you feel. I don't know. It looks good. I like
Is it worth starting? I'll stay with you and we'll do
Yes,
a
it
little
will.
perimeter and we could do 2, 3 of them.
Yeah, it will take some time, so that's great.
All right.
Any other
There's really looking around. See.
Maybe
catch
this.
some game or I don't is that disrespectful to the forest?
Huh?
Catching some game?
Oh, no, I think it's all right as long as you're not taking anything that's, not going to be able to replenish itself.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure,
Yeah, from your impression, like, nature accepts the natural order of things. Animals eat other animals, predators eat other... Like, as long as you're not cruel or, things eat things. That's not considered an affront to nature.
a bunny and
Yeah. As long as it's not like a sacred creature, if it's just hunting as the normal course of things.
Yeah, I've got some rations. I'm okay, but if we want to look for something...
While you're casting, Safira and I can look for some game.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll keep an eye on you.
Thank you. Yeah, because I have to focus. All right.
So Safira and I will go hunt while they're...
Sure. Give me some survival checks, both of you.
Oh, baby.
And I will vigilantly watch the brush and the
Loser.
surrounding area.
You get +6.
Yes, I
Looking
do.
for
I get
clouds,
Okay.
black clouds.
Give me a perception check.
Oh,
Ooh.
jeez.
8.
19.
Nice.
There's an abundance, as you've seen on the way here, of small game, squirrels, rabbits, birds. You can certainly take some time, and with that roll and Safira's proficiency, you're easily able to track down a few small critters that you could...
Yeah, I'll find a little squirrel that looks like it's like, I don't know, past reproductive age to make sure that I'm being careful. I don't know. I'm scared of this word. Yeah, that one can't reproduce anymore. Sure.
You did it respectfully, but...
Oh my god.
Yes, keeping an eye out for.
And we'll like start a little fire area. Ooh, do we want to start a
Can we-
fire?
Are you starting a fire?
We eat raw squirrel?
You would probably need to...
No, we can't eat raw squirrel.
That shit.
I suppose we have to make a fire. We should do it pretty quickly. There's no way. It'd be nice if they had a spell that could create like a dome of...
I don't think they have that.
Yeah, I don't think they do either.
All right, we're gonna make like a small, predominantly embers. We're gonna try and get like embers and like so
Yeah.
we can put the meat right on top.
Take
of
some
it.
time to make a small little fire. It might take a moment to cook, given the sort of small size of it, but you're able to get that process started. As Orba's sort of setting up, and so how many are you setting up?
It takes 10 minutes to cast. Let's do 2, I guess. How vulnerable? Like, are there points of entry, obvious points of entry, or is it?
Yeah, so it's like, again, it's like a little semicircle of kind of a rocky ridge around you. Probably 2 would cover most of the semicircle portion that's not
Okay.
rock. And then, if something's up on the ridge, unless you're going to set up alarms all around the ridge, like something would see you from up there. So that's...
Okay.
But 2 would comfortably cover that sort of most obvious point of access.
Okay. I mean, I guess if we're not resting for an hour, I may as well cast at least 3.
You want Orba? Hop from spot to spot.
Oh, wow.
So I'll do
There
2
you go.
just in front of us, making sure to the curved part of the ridge where we're gonna be hiding. Either side of that, is that somewhere where somebody would like slink around or something? Or is that like, I guess I don't know how defined this.
It's not that
Okay.
defined. These are all natural formations, and it's not like a cave or anything. So it's like a
horseshoe.
Yeah, it's gradual slopes.
picturing.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not really a horseshoe. It doesn't come around that close.
Okay, and from the top of the ridge, we'll put one there. Depending on like where the trees are formed too, just some kind of an more obvious path.
I mean, if you're spending the whole hour doing it, you could probably set up several. So you.
Let's fucking go then.
15, by the way, for that roll
15.
an hour ago. For perception.
So while Orba's kind of at the work vest, and before actually Erland and Safira have come back to start the fire, Graven is just kind of poking about, kind of looking here and there to make sure that there's no obvious signs of more threatening creatures beyond the small game that you see around you. A couple times you look off into the distance toward where the terrain starts to kind of collapse in on itself. Some of the trees are askew, and you see far less sort of concentrated than before, but small little reddish dark patches that kind of move way in the distance.
Hundreds of feet.
More than that. Like
Okay,
as far as you can see, basically, at the end of your vision. And you see just, again, it's not like that massive swarm of sturges that passed through earlier that you guys ducked and covered from. Little packs of maybe 6, 7 to 10 sturges. Just flitting about in the general area. None of them seem to be coming to or from with any urgency or anything. but you
Graven's
see
just
them.
like,
Yeah.
Sturges. They're out.
And then after a little time, Erland and Safira come back. They start the small fire there in this.
Let's put that out before it gets much darker than it is now. But
I know. I'm gonna put a blanket over it, cover the
grateful
smoke.
for it.
What is that? Are you hearing this?
I'm hearing
When's
noises.
the
So
last
is
time
anyone
we
else?
dealt with somebody invisible, other than
The guy that
I don't know. It's been
stabbed
about
me
long
in
enough.
Brickrock?
Yeah, it's been about long
What
enough
was
that
the
I think we could
satyr's
be
name?
dealing with
Oh,
another.
Marcus. Marcus?
There's no way.
why is there no
There's
way?
like no way.
Marcus?
There's no way.
I found you, Marcus.
Marcus.
I found you. You're right there. And Erland's gonna point at something vaguely where the sound was.
Make a deception check.
Oh shit. Dirty 20.
You hear nothing.
Okay, am I done casting alarm spells?
Sure. We'll say this
Okay.
is that time's math.
Watch me. I'm going to start casting detect magic just so. Okay.
Great.
Is it possible that it's just the local animals that are curious to see who the owl talked to?
I'm looking everywhere for the local animals he's talking about.
As when you were hunting, like, there's animals, small things that you've seen skitter here and there. None of them, like, stop to, like, address you or look at you in, like, a curious kind of way. Nothing that you see like that.
It's just a fucking raccoon, I know it.
I can't hold a hold. No, I'd have to, like... If I sat there with, like, a hold person for, like, an hour and a half, just, like...
Well, you can only hold it for 1 round's worth,
Yes.
and then
Oh my
that's a
God.
spell slot.
Yeah, never mind.
Just keep expending a spell slot.
Never mind.
You'd have to hold a cantrip, because that you have no limit of resources.
All right. Well, as I said earlier, I should probably try one last
Whoa.
sending
Oh.
before we get too far east.
Perhaps we should not speak as openly as we are about.
I can do it very quietly.
No.
Just even
It
the
means
fact that you're
whilst she's doing
saying.
the...
Okay.
I think we're being.
Safira's effectively like spinning in a circle. Like I'm like looking
On a
around.
stool.
Yeah. What are you doing to us? I don't know. I don't see any. I don't see anything,
God.
Graven. I don't see anything. I see no animals. I see nothing.
Erland's gonna pick up like a stick and just toss it into the woods.
You finished it.
Have I?
Yes, you finished your detect magic. And when you open your eyes, there's like your heart kind of skips a beat for a moment. There's like
Oh, my
7 alarm
alarms.
spells. Like, there's just like a lot of abjuration magic all of a sudden. Nothing that isn't of your own design.
Would you like to do a lap with me, anyone?
Yes, very much.
I will stay here with Orba.
All right. Take like
Yeah, how far from the
a
camp do you want to
100
wander?
pace radius and just kind of zigzag in a big circle.
Erland's gonna do the way.
Oh my god!
Erland,
Just in case.
use your eyes and your feet.
I'm using both. Like also doing like when you're searching for someone who's drowning steps. You know those?
Like sweeping your feet
Yeah,
back
sweeping
and
feet steps.
forth. Makes a lot of noise on the forest floor. Give me an investigation check.
Jesus.
17. Sorry, investigation 18.
As you as well. Grab if you're both.
Oh, jeez.
You don't get to do one because you're not doing this.
Oh my god.
That's true.
0.
But
Natural 1.
there
It's
you
a
go.
natural 1.
As you guys are doing a little sweep of the perimeter, working your way, the trees here, as they have been while you've been walking, it's not super dense here. It's not like when you're standing in one spot, you can see a pretty decent distance. You were able to see those little sturges flitting way in the distance, so it's not terribly thick. Your sight lines are pretty good, so it would be hard for something that's bigger than a very small critter to like sneak up on you in sort of a physical way. And as you're moving around, you just sort of take a peek up and down to trees. You know that you and Orba went up into the trees at one point to sort of look down on the bandits as they approached. You don't see anything up above you. Nothing.
All right. I am not satisfied either, but I think we need to just
I agree.
go about our business here.
It could be nothing. It's never nothing, but it could be nothing.
Won't share anything sensitive out loud. How
Yes,
about
that's what I was insinuating.
that? Got it.
What the fuck is that?
Could we get a sense of which direction that came from?
Perception.
Just Graven or?
I feel like I saw you press a button.
Natural 20. Natural 20.
Because you're so on edge, the moment that something made any sound, and a couple times this has happened before, there was like a little rustle, you turned, and it was like Erland sweeping his foot across. This time, but as the two of you are standing still talking to each other, you hear a little something, and you immediately turn, and it just looks like like if there was a pile of leaves, and you don't see the object, it's like if something was under a pile of leaves that
Oh no.
pulled, and like the leaves sink just a little bit, as if something was, under it, and then as it moved, it sort of depressed ever so slightly.
Do you see anything?
I think it's the vines. Do you remember
Yes,
when
of
we went
course.
through the caverns with Praxis, yes. There's a chance that we are either disturbing or alerting a series of vines.
Shit.
Can I go to that spot and just kind of softly go through there?
Sure.
Yeah. Follow it, kind of go right from where I am straight towards camp.
As direct a line as you can
Yeah.
toward the camp. Yeah, give me an
Just
investigation.
a little.
You can follow Graven.
Yeah.
Give me an investigation. Give him the help action. You can do it. He can do it with advantage.
9.
Oh my god.
9. As you're walking back toward the camp, the patches of leaves are few and far between, and you see no such disturbances that match what you saw just a moment ago.
It could be that they're moving away from us because we're congregating here
That hopefully
towards the hole.
towards yes, perhaps where they.
But then that means that something is going to be alerted of us.
Let's be very
Whether it's
careful.
sentient or not, I don't know.
We've clomped around a bunch. Let's be very careful where we step.
We certainly did. The thing with the arms and your feet.
We're looking for something.
Looking, clomping is all I'm saying. Let's go back.
Walk back.
Okay.
With very light feet.
Yeah, you start to head back. You reconvene with Safira and Orba. I'm just going to check.
Okay.
Oh, not I.
I hear music, no?
Oh.
Is that my
The
alarm
vines.
going off?
Yeah, doom, doom, doom.
Yep, we're just making sure that the sound. We're back on the speakers there. Okay.
Great.
Everybody make sure you're not connected to that.
My phone's on.
My Bluetooth is off now, just
Excellent.
in case.
I can't be sure, but we heard the rustling again, and I noticed what could have been shifting vines, some kind of plant life moving underneath the brush and the dead leaves.
Do we think assassin vines could be this far?
I mean,
Is that exactly what we fought when we were with Praxis?
No.
that was something else.
That was something different.
It could also be. It could be vines, perhaps, that are almost reaching out and scouting. And
As I'm kind of, can I look very now, knowing that it might be vines? I want to look closely at the ground, sort of around us.
Nothing that you can say.
Oh, I thought you were.
You guys have very thoroughly searched the area
Yeah,
around the camp itself.
As long as we stay here, I think we should be okay.
You just said they might be scouts.
They might be. Yes, sort of. They're plants, though, right? They're plants. As long as we don't threaten it.
As in,
That hasn't always been our experience, but
Yes, when we moved close
I
to
don't
the
know. Can
tree
you
is when
talk
it
to it or
attacked
something?
us.
Can you make friends? I
I can try.
eat it or something.
Well, that's threatening.
I was the
Well,
one
I
that we
s-
voted
I
we moved
suppose.
more farther east.
I
But
mean,
now that you've done all these alarms, I think that we can.
I would rather have a camp that's not surrounded by assassin vines. Because I don't even know if my alarm spell would be triggered by these things. It's like creature oriented. I don't know if these things would be.
It's a creature. You would know that.
They are creatures.
A plant with some limited sentience of any kind would be considered
Okay.
a creature. It would set it up.
Were we between the sinkhole and our camp when that happened?
Yes, roughly. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Erland's gonna long shot. Erland's gonna sort of kneel down, and in the similar way to the way I've like cast Rejuvenate before. I'm gonna try and close my eyes and see if I can't try and communicate with any roots or plant life that I can feel in the similar way to the way that I've communicated to Myconids before.
Okay.
I'm just gonna sort of keep. I'm just like
What do
gonna
you do
keep my eyes closed maybe for like 10 minutes and just really try and focus and see if plants are telling me anything.
Okay. Stay there for a moment, sort of hand into the soil. For a moment, as you touch the ground, you sort of try to let whatever's within you sort of reach out. No, a lot of time you spend kind of almost suppressing what's inside, but at this moment you sort of allow it to expand and reach out as best you can. You feel almost kind of a little tug on the ends of your fingertips as if you're sort of doing your best to make a connection with the earth there. Nothing.
I can't be sure, but we might be safe.
Did you get some kind of signal, or are you just guessing?
No, well, I felt a connection, but no danger.
Okay.
All right, I'm only going to ask once. Would we prefer to stay in a camp with 6 alarm spells surrounding it.
What the fuck was that?
Okay, I'm not.
That was a
Those were
whisper.
whispers.
That was not a vine.
We're
That did not sound like a
finding
fucking plant.
Different.
Yep.
Ham.
Nope. We're moving. Can the
Orba's
alarm
picking
smells-
up her bag.
Yeah. No, I'm starting to help her. I'm helping her pick up the stuff.
The last
So now, I mean, you've spent basically an hour and plus
know.
here, sort of setting up the spells, going
Jeez,
around,
okay.
just for time.
Say anything about whispers?
On the
Think back to what we have seen before. The last time spirits came to us, they either communicated directly with you, or they were ones that felt like they needed help, and we gave parts of ourselves to them. Anything
I
else?
don't want to do that again.
Right?
You thought that was a spirit, not like a sentient plant-speaking thing?
Just then.
Yeah.
I've never heard a plant speak, and I heard that.
Try
I've heard
and-
undead, and I've heard living.
Try and speak with the dead.
I'm not.
Just close your eyes and whisper.
Does that?
Hello.
Try harder.
I'm not.
Erland.
What is it? Well, why don't we just keep moving? We could just keep moving.
Keep moving. We're going to go a little more east, then north. Keep eyes out for the watchtower. We never saw the watchtower.
No, I mean by east and north, you mean like
That's
basically
away from
through the. No,
moving-
that's
Oh, that's
toward the
toward the-
tree area, to the northeast. We'd be going through there.
Yeah.
And like I said, some of the area you can see where the trees are sort of at their most defunct. You can see the areas where maybe the ground is a little more solid because the trees aren't quite as disturbed. But if you're going to the northeast, which is your intended direction, you'll be walking through that to some degree, and you can avoid it as much as possible. But
And towards the clouds of
yes,
sturges.
it seemed like occasionally you'd see a little sort of group, bless you, moving from tree to tree. It was very hard to get a better idea of the sort of topography of the landscape without getting closer to it. And now the sun is beginning to set. It's not dark yet, but the sun is going down.
And the coast is on the other side of all of this.
Yeah. What Peel told you is once you go through this area where the ground is kind of maybe eroding, sinking a little bit, you'll keep heading in that direction and eventually it will meet up with the coast and then you'll follow the coast all the way up to the east.
We have to make a decision. We stay here or we backtrack.
I don't want to stay here. I think we should keep moving.
But the other option is to take a very wide easterly. We don't want to go straight towards this. We would be going very wide and we'd be traveling for at least a few more hours at this point. It's not going to be an hour. It's
Would
going to
these
be
alarm
several.
spells alert to spirits, to things that aren't, corporeal?
Again, once they're right on top of us, yes.
A spirit would set it off if it was in the material plane. There are creatures like if a creature faded into the ethereal plane,
Okay.
it could then fade back in without setting it off because it's in a different place at that time.
Got it.
But-
so like if I were to blink and
Yeah.
then somehow travel that
If
distance.
you blinked through an alarm, it would not set off the alarm.
Got it.
But when you materialized within the space.
Yes, if she wasn't able to blink all the way to the other
Yeah,
side,
yeah,
yes, it would set.
Okay.
It would not.
Okay, I'm really tired, so
I know, me
again,
too.
If we move anywhere east or north, we're putting ourselves at more risk.
Shit.
Okay.
Is it?
Let's
It's the vine.
sit. Vines don't speak.
They don't whisper.
Erland's sitting down silently.
Fuck. Let's give a few minutes of just
oh gosh.
quiet.
Fuck's
Okay.
sake.
Sorry.
Kind of like closing my eyes to see if I can't hear any better.
Nora's putting her shit back down and she's unrolling her bedroll again.
The fire, are you letting it go out? What do you guys do?
I had smothered it, so I wanted to put a blanket over it so there was no smoke.
You do so. And you have a little bit of cooked meat from the.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
quietly.
kind of quietly eating the squirrel and handing it to Graven and Orba.
Just be silent for a good 5-10 minutes here.
Very sort of uncomfortable, quiet, silent. The only sounds are kind of a little chewing occasionally as someone tears off a piece of
Erland's
meat.
going to, while we're sitting there, I'm going to take out the Radiran burial urn and put it like at my feet and open up the top of it so that if spirit needs to
Oh
find
my
a place to
God.
rest, I'm just going to sort of sit there with it open.
Or was sitting with a rye fruit potion in her hand.
With squirrel meat in one hand. by other. Some time passes. 20 minutes go by.
We
No
don't hear any more of
sounds?
the sounds.
I mean, sometimes the wind blows and something rustles, and it's a little less sort of concentrated, sort of immediately apparent as it was before.
Orba's like just slowly just drifting into sleep.
I'll take first watch.
I'll
Let
take
Orba
s-
sleep.
I'll take second. She can take last. Do you want third?
All right, fine.
I acknowledge this is challenging, but I don't know what our other
stay
option
up.
is. No,
Stay
go
up.
to sleep. I'm taking first watch.
Go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
Okay, right. I'm really fucking tired.
Relax. Real quick.
Yes.
If I were to use sending on my watch, rather than before I get ready for my long rest, I'd still get that spell slot back.
You would still.
Okay, I'll wait for my watch. And can I say it in my head? Like, I don't have. Oh, I feel like we
I think
looked
you
this up.
do have to. You
Very
can whisper
mutter
it,
it, yeah,
yes,
okay.
but I do believe it has a verbal component, so you have
Okay.
to say the message very, very quietly out loud. So yeah, so you can say it very, very quietly, but you do have to say it out loud.
Get some rest. I'll wake you up if anything happens.
Okay. Be vigilant. Be very vigilant.
So just to be clear, also about the alarm, did you choose the mental ping for all of them?
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Silent alarm has been activated.
Bind.
Oh, if it gave us exactly what it was.
That would be
Sick. Primo alarmo.
All right. Everybody, well, we'll do it one at a time. Erland, go ahead and give me your perception for watch here.
We're about to get up and fucking leave.
I said vigilant, you little idiot.
Natural one.
I said
I have
vigilant.
6
I
alarms.
told him it's not my fault.
Just a little bit into Erland's watch, it's less that there's sort of something sneaks up on you, but the paranoia is getting to you a little bit. A couple of times there's just like, and you're not sure if it's nothing, you're not sure if it's something small, you're not sure if it's something large. There's just sort of general noises of the forest that are messing with you a little bit. It sounds like something sort of moving. At one point you think it's like a footsteps in the woods, and it's a Graven kind of rolling over in his bedroll at one point.
I'm gonna sit there and just like super quietly, so I don't wake my friends. I'm gonna sort of start like almost like muttering prayers and be like, spirits, we do not mean you any harm. We are just resting. If you too need a place to rest, I have this urn, a very sacred urn, made by elves. You may rest here with us if you need to rest.
And while Erland is saying this, Orba, your eyes shoot open. Boom! And there's
Spirits?
some kind of ping in your mind that woke you from your sleep there. And you hear Orba kind of...
Orba. I'm gonna look around to all the places I saw her casting spells.
Give me a perception.
Yeah,
Both of
Orba-
you, give me with disadvantage here in the dark.
Can Orba
Disadvantage?
Yeah, everybody.
try to her best to like seem like she's still asleep, like try to maintain that
Okay.
composure, but take a look around.
Yeah, disadvantage.
6.
Disadvantage.
You have no fire or light, so these are with disadvantage. Even with dark vision, these are with disadvantage.
You said perception?
Yep.
8.
8, yeah. Nothing that you guys can pinpoint at all.
Okay, Orba's holding up distilled breath root potion.
Shit. Sturges?
Right?
They'd be flying, though. Looking up in the air now.
Don't see anything crossing over the night sky above you.
Stay there. I'm going to quietly walk around. How many alarm spells did you cast?
6, but you can walk through them.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna walk around to all of the alarm, like very
That
quietly.
requires going up on that little ridge, too.
Yeah, and like if there's leaves on the ground, I want to try and like.
Give me a stealth check first.
Oh, it's so clocked. Oh, less good. 15.
Okay, and then give me an investigation check as well.
We
Okay, dirty
Fair
20.
and I are out.
20. Yeah, I mean, or you made no effort to. I'm assuming. I don't want you guys to have to whisper for real and not be able to hear. So I'm assuming this was a quiet
Yes.
conversation, unless you, had the intent to.
Oh, yeah.
So you watch as Erland kind of gets up, creeps from kind of spot to. A couple times he sort of points at the ground, and you nod to sort of indicate where the alarm spells were sort of generally cast. You push things around a little bit, and Erland's kind of running his hand along the ground in a few spots, And at one point you move your hand, and as if something moving in the opposite direction, just like that same under the leaves kind of sensation of something creeping away, as if you moved your hand and it was moving away from you at that exact same time.
Did it feel plant-like? Did it feel...
You didn't touch it.
Oh.
You just saw the kind of disturbance of the forest floor.
Can I follow that movement?
You can try. Give me an investigation with disadvantage here in the dark as you attempt to follow it.
8.
8. You take a couple steps forward and then you listen and wait again just to see if you can find it. You think you might have lost the trail there.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to seated. Something's moving in the ground.
Okay, Erland, maybe we need to have a scout walk around the perimeter rather than stay seated. Maybe movement perturbs them. Maybe movement is setting
Alright,
away.
Good idea.
I'm gonna try to go back to bed.
I'll pass that along to Safira.
Okay.
Erland's going to keep the urn out, sort of maybe on a stump or something, keeping it presentable, and I'm going to start doing paces around again where Orba had set.
No, let's do a full circle. Let's call it, if we're all sleeping together, I'll do like 30-foot sort of diameter circle around everyone.
Okay.
That's maybe not big enough, 40 foot.
Yeah, if you're trying to go kind of where the alarms are up on the ridge and stuff, are you trying to go around that far?
No, I don't want to go that far.
Okay.
I want to sort of stay a little bit closer and let the alarm spells work and sort of stay closer to the group, so 40-ish feet diameter.
Give me a perception check with disadvantage. You guys still have no light source at all here in the dark of night.
Sorry, perception?
Yep.
11.
11. Okay. Some more time passes. Orba sort of willing herself back to sleep here as she sits and waits. And you can hear, even just because you know he's there, sort of light footsteps as Erland moves around the kind of perimeter of the camp that you guys have made. And at one point, Erland steps. Nothing happens, and he steps again. He continues his way around the perimeter. Some time goes by. You hear nothing. No further disturbances during the morning.
God, what the fuck?
My watch is over.
Thank God. Somebody else's fucking problem.
I'm gonna go to Safira and wake her up.
What?
Your watch.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm awake.
The
Anything?
very quietly. The alarm. Shh, shut up. Shut up. Shh. The alarm. Walk with me. And I'm gonna sort of take her the path that I was walking.
Sleepily following behind Erland as he shows you where he's been sort of...
The alarm spell went off on my watch.
Okay, well,
We couldn't find anything. I'll point out to where I felt.
It was one of the ones up on the
Yeah,
ridge.
I felt something moving up there.
okay.
But
What did it feel like?
Nothing. I didn't touch it.
What do you mean it felt like nothing? You
leaves
just said it
moving
felt like
around
something.
it? Leaves moving around my hand. That weren't me.
Okay.
Point is once I started walking in this circle, in this path, I didn't hear anything. So perhaps shut. So perhaps light movement startles them.
Light movement is startling me.
Just keep walking around in a circle and keep watch, okay?
I know.
All right?
I know.
I'm going to sleep. Are you all, keep walking.
Erland's gonna go to his spot, like
I'm gonna very kind of slowly. Hello? Is anybody here with me?
No responses.
Okay. I'm gonna keep, like he told me, I'm gonna keep kind of walking around the perimeter, about a 40-foot perimeter where he said the alarm spells were.
Perception with disadvantage as you walk.
Okay.
go,
How
kid.
bad could this go?
This is
It's bad. You're right. That's a 5.
Fine. Okay. Exceedingly difficult without any source of light. The moon is not it's waning and it's not shedding enough light to really make it easy for you to discern things in the distance. And you're mostly listening more so than looking, even with dark vision. You have it out to about 60 feet, but sort of even in the darkness, difficult to pick up on anything. And at one point, Safira is making that sort of large circle that Erland showed her, and you're kind of on the rocky side, like where you could go up on the ridge, but he didn't go all the way up on the ridge. And you're right there, and you hear someone shuffling in their bag, and Orba's eyes pop open again.
Orba, you alright? Where is it? Do you not know? Oh, fuck. Okay, just go back to sleep.
Safira, what is
I wish I just relax. It's fine. Relax.
you sure?
I don't know. I'm gonna keep walking around. I'm just doing the same circle because I can't see anything. So
Not much. Nothing beyond sort of black and white shapes, grays, shades of gray.
Orba's eyelids are gonna slowly drop as she watches Safira do the rounds.
So I'm kind of going around, just hello, we're friendly.
Anything in particular you say besides? Hello, we're friendly.
Just you say kind of same vibe with what Erland was saying. We were not trying to cause any harm. Just stopping through, just passing through. Do you have something to say?
At that moment when you hear the whispers and you turn, you say that. Just as you've turned, you feel what feels like someone running their fingertips kind of over one of your shoulder blades.
Do I see something when I turn around?
Nope.
Fuck, that was creepy. I didn't really love that. If you could speak to me before you touch me, that would be brilliant. Probably have a better exchange, you know? Didn't hurt, but it was creepy. I'm stopping, I'm listening, if you have anything to say. No, really? You're just gonna run your finger down my back? Okay, no, it's fine. I'll have no trouble sleeping tonight after that. That'll be great. I'm gonna keep walking around in my circle. Oh my god.
A tense sort of period of time goes by where you sort of wait and you listen. A couple times you think you might hear another snap or another brush of leaves moving along, something scraping against a tree trunk. But nothing emerges, nothing shows itself, nothing becomes obvious, and eventually your watch period comes to an end.
Okay, I'm gonna go to wake up Graven. Graven? Nothing bad happened. But I felt like something ran its finger down my back. I don't know. I have no idea. I can show you. It happened right about. It happened right about there. So.
Has the alarm gone off at all?
Yeah, it went off. It woke her up. It went off twice. It went off during Erland's watch too. We've just been making. Okay, again. If you want to say anything.
The more we speak and move, the more they come.
Maybe we were making a circle.
Just rest.
Okay, it's your watch though, so I will be doing the resting. Good night, Graven.
Try. Graven. You can do this, Graven.
Psychs himself up. Come on, Graven.
Come on,
Get it
baby.
together.
You got this. Couple things.
Yes.
I can't see anything.
Oh my god.
I mean, there's like a smidgen of light coming through from the moon. It's not a full moon. It's pretty dim. Like you can see the outlines of tree trunks, but it's very dark. It's extremely dark.
And if I send to somebody in the middle of the night, it'll probably wake them up.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it comes. It appears in their head. So if they were
Make it
sleeping,
appear at 9 a.m. in the morning.
a courtesy call.
I was gonna say, I mean, do I have any foreknowledge of do people sometimes think it's a dream, or is
the
there...
spell's text specifically says it knows who the sender is, so they would not think that it was a dream.
Okay.
Only someone who had no concept, who was not familiar with magic at all, might be like, what is happening? Like, they might know it was you, but they'd be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But someone who has any kind of knowledge of magic would be aware that some magic was sort of being communicated to them.
Graven's he's gonna stand up and just really try to breathe in, feel the living parts of the forest, and just try to stay very calm and listen. Maybe do a couple of very, very slow laps. And after maybe 30, 40 minutes to an hour.
Take some time moving around in a circle. Give me perception with disadvantage there. God.
12.
Okay. Take some time and nothing immediately jumps out at you. You don't hear or feel any of the things that have been communicated to you thus far. 30, 45 minutes goes by.
And as under my breath as physically possible,
You
with
can
issuing,
communicate barely audibly, but
but I will.
yeah. Projection.
Yes. Concentrating on pockets.
Okay.
Time draws near. My confidence grows. I will do everything I can for her. That said, $50 gold of fine inks will aid us greatly. Wait again. Thank you.
Give me a percentile roll.
Oh,
Here we
That's
go.
right.
baby.
Come on, baby.
Let's go, baby.
Was stressed out about other things and forgot about this part. Yup. That's fine. This is fine. I can use this, but I also need this.
Come on.
38.
38.
Nice.
You project the message out. You feel that sort of divine energy that allows you to channel your powers, and pushing it kind of outward and sending that message telepathically. As you've used it, it almost kind of leaves you with a lightheadedness, as it feels like the message is like physically leaving your brain and being sent to another place. And this time, just as the message is sort of leaving, it almost feels as if something presses back down.
Come on.
Okay.
And not only, you've had sensations before where the sending was a little strained, but you still feel like it found its mark, though it was overheard by something. You don't get that sensation at all.
That nobody heard.
You feel that the message did not hit a wall, that it was not projected at all.
Oh no.
And Orba wakes.
I hear that.
You can hear Orba wake.
Kind of quietly. I'll come down. I'll try to find her and grab her. Can you tell where or what?
No. Are you okay?
Yes.
It's been happening all night.
I know it's impossible to do at my behest. Just try to rest.
Okay.
Orba rolls over. You can sense her tension a little bit. A little bit of a sort of
Sit there for like a couple extra minutes and just kind of rub her back a little bit. Like awkward,
cute.
with a big hand.
Yeah.
Just like
feel that sort of calming presence as best as possible.
and
Still
again
time left on your watch.
without much sight, I might even keep my eyes closed and just kind of breathe and listen
Okay.
and like
Give me a perception check that's a little more sort of auditory based rather than sight based. Just with regular, not with disadvantage. You might not pick up
that's
as
the
much.
secret. 13.
You got around it.
But I mean, definitely not picking up
Yeah.
on certain things, but focusing very specifically on sounds rather than sight. And again, you feel like you're reaching that sort of point where any sound kind of sets you off. Like even just a little bit of wind blowing through immediately sort of makes you turn in the direction, even though there might be nothing there. You see nothing there. Sounds of the forest. At one point, there's like a little, and you turn, and it looked like some kind of squirrel or something hopped from one branch to another high overhead.
I'm gonna, not even speaking, just thinking about, like, honestly, like, enjoying the forest a little. Like, this is where we are. I feel comfortable here in a way. There is a comfort to this place, and I'll try to concentrate on it.
Give me a nature check.
Ooh.
Oh.
Damn.
Key is to enjoy yourself.
We don't do.
No, it's not. It's not the key.
Natural 1.
Fucking hate the forest.
You hear some sounds kind of in more frequency with sort of more succession.
Am I still close to Orba?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my hand on her and see if I feel anything from her.
Nothing yet. It doesn't seem like you can't sense
Yeah.
her like awakening from an alarm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
trying
I
to sense.
assumed he was waiting to
What
see.
you doing?
Oh,
No,
Oh,
if you stirred from
Oh,
yeah,
got
yeah.
it.
Like
Yeah.
if you get alerted, that means
Got
something's
it.
very close. But
Now sounds kind of flooding your senses, making it more and more difficult to keep your cool, keep your calm.
be at peace.
And once again, you feel an Orba stirs. And you're worried at this point that if you continue to stir, your sleep is in jeopardy.
Yeah.
That if these alarms continue to interrupt you. Speaker.
Great.
I want to believe it's just the forest. It's just the forest breathing, and maybe some spirits as well. But
Do you sense that do you sense that there's some spoken language happening?
I don't know.
Okay. Is it my turn?
Not yet.
Not quite.
I don't know if I can keep these alarm spells up.
What if we dispelled them? Can you do that?
Yes.
Can she just?
I think you...
Fuck this one.
Dispel your own alarm spell. Let's find out.
Does not say.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
Damn it.
It just lasts for a period of time. I mean, you could dispel it if you had, ability to spell magic.
Maybe 6 alarm spells was a bad idea.
I'm sorry, it was my idea.
No, it's okay. Okay, here.
I'm trying my best to
It's okay.
manifest the.
If I could have your assistance between our watches, 10 minutes, so I can cast comprehend languages. Maybe they're trying to say something. I have no idea.
All right.
Okay. Good night.
Going back in my mind to the place of the turning of the mill wheel.
A place of comfort.
A place of
return to.
just quiet and concentration, but just
The rest of your watch goes by. Uneventful.
That gets you a long rest, doesn't it?
no.
I still have to do my watch.
I'm gonna come over and maybe give her an extra 10 minutes. And finally.
Well, I didn't wake up to an alarm.
I think the less we speak and move, the better.
So no comprehend languages?
Can you do that quietly?
Orba holds up a finger. Orba shakes her head.
I mean, you were asking if she could do it quietly?
Yeah, like could she?
You could do it quietly, just not silently. It has a verbal
Yes.
component.
Yeah,
right?
there's
Yes.
a verbal component.
Yes. So, yes, you can do it quietly.
Stillness. Quietness.
Orba gives a thumbs up.
Find a spot.
Pushes him to bed.
Find a spot. Quietly.
Okay.
So
Orba's gonna, like, again, trying to follow Graven's lead. She's gonna place herself in the center of her friends. And she is going to not even turn her head. She is going to stand still, focus on breathing.
Another ping.
Just gonna wait a little longer.
Some time passes. More time passes. Anything else during this time?
No.
Perception check.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
Can I, since it is so dark, can I just focus on what I can hear?
Yes.
Okay. I want to keep my eyes shut.
Won't get any sight-based clues, but yes, you may.
That's fine. So, what kind of roll?
Just a perception check.
Straight
Yep.
perception. 12.
12. Okay. After those first couple of initial pings, there's a period of quiet and silence for a moment. And with Orba being on the last watch, also the sun begins to rise. Light beginning to crack on the horizon ever so slightly. Seems like it's excruciatingly slow that it begins to turn from sort of black sky overhead to purples and then a little bit of oranges. And as the light kind of pours in between the trees a little bit, you start to get just a better look at your surroundings. And the sounds seem to have stopped for the most part. As you're looking around, some of the trees, both up on the ridge and in that little opening into this kind of horseshoe shape, they seem overgrown more. Like covered in mosses, the vegetation a little thicker, some like vines hanging from branches that you weren't 100% sure were there when you set to sleep at night. Nothing moving, everything perfectly still, but just as if more time passed, like weirdly as if more time had passed over that single night's sleep.
Are we old now?
Yeah. Winkle, baby.
Okay.
And eventually you get to the end of your rest.
Okay. Okay. Orba's gonna let everybody sleep in for just a little bit.
That combined with the sort of hour that you tacked on as you were doing you guys have thought you were gonna wake up super duper early. It's still early because you got a relative, but we'll say it's closer to like 6:30ish.
Okay.
This was a long rest.
It was a long rest. And okay, so Pockets is tomorrow.
Now it could, yes. Now as of this morning.
Yeah, now.
Well, no, not Pockets. You getting to the isthmus is
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pockets will be
so,
He is like
probably a day after that, maybe
Yes.
even a little longer.
great. So I'm not like loading out for a chimera fight today. Is what I'm asking.
Oh my God, no, jeez.
Jeez, oh my god. Oh,
Okay.
oh jeez, oh man.
All 3 girdles are back, baby.
Oh,
I gotta do my spellbook in a second. Can Orba, as her friends are kind of hanging out, can she cast ritually detect magic one more time?
You might, yes.
When she does that, the growth that is new, is there any aura coming from those areas?
So a little time passes as you take the time to ritually cast. No magic.
Okay.
No.
What? Got it. Am I sensing? Has it been 8 hours or my alarm spell's gone?
It has, yes. The alarm spells are gone.
Okay.
The time is
No
passed.
other magic around me then?
No.
Okay, great. After a nice little snooze button is hit, she'll start waking everybody up.
You're right.
Anything
Good
else?
morning.
Good morning.
Rough night, huh?
Yes.
Erland's gonna check the urn. Gonna look in it, see if there's any
What are you?
spirits flying around.
Nothing inside the
Casper
urn at all.
just
Yeah.
doing a swirly. Okay.
Yes.
Graven was clever enough to instruct me that it seemed the more we made our presence known by speaking or by making any rounds, the more agitated or curious the area got. So my watch was very quiet. I just ignored everything.
I'm sorry I told you to do that many alarm spells. That honestly was worse for you than it.
Well, we didn't know. We had no idea. It could have been anything.
Um,
If it had been something else, it would have been right useful, maybe.
but my thing is, So if you look, and she'll start to point out all of the new growth.
Yeah.
So this wasn't.
It's not like crazy. Like if you guys hadn't been on such hyper awareness, you might not have even noticed. Like there's just a few extra vines, bushes, patches of growth. Yeah, so it's curious but noticeable to you.
Does it kind of encircle us at all, or is it just like smattering?
Encircle you in what way?
Well, we're in not a horseshoe, but we're in a
concentrated.
this, right? Does it seem, concentrated to that?
Like, yes, the closest trees and shrubs to you is where you're noticing it, but that's not to say it might not extend further out there. It's just that's where you're seeing it because it's right there. Yes, it seems all around you.
Okay.
So
How close are these like overgrown trees? Pretty close.
Yeah, 40 feet from where you're made camp, where you're seeing.
I'm curious. Obviously, there's some kind of natural power here, probably coming from the source of the caverns, but it kind of reminds me of the last sip. Do you remember that?
Yes, that was. We assume that was myconid related, wasn't it? Given the sort of
Yes. Well, it turned this
runoff or something
small
of the.
little pond into this lavish natural space over the course of like a month or something. Jillian said it wasn't there like
Right.
not that long ago.
I suppose it could be something like that, but it also could be. The thought I had was that it's some kind of a magical curse or something that was placed on this area by the Shade Assembly. I'm just trying to keep people, far away from the entrance to their very secret facility. So I don't know.
Spiritual doesn't always mean curse. I mean,
No, that's
just the
true.
fact that a former warden makes his home here means that there is
Yes,
energies here. I
But
think.
also, given that we're so close to the Shade Assembly, there could be magical protection of some sort.
Right.
So, obviously, things got a little more active in the evening. So, if we are going to do these caverns, we do it in daylight.
Yes.
Yes, I think so.
Now, quickly.
Now.
No,
Well, yeah,
like,
let's just knock it right out.
no, but
Okay,
like
no,
this
I'm ready.
day.
I'm ready today.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
ready.
This is the day.
Let me try something. I'm gonna go over to one of the trees that's grown more.
Sure.
Perhaps.
Some extra moss
Yeah.
on the trunk of it, again, some kind of vines like looped along one of the branches.
It wraps around your neck.
I'm gonna. I mean, I'm a little nervous about that. I'm gonna approach it very carefully and quietly, and I want to get a closer look at it to see if it is reminiscent of anything from the last sip, and also to see if I feel any like hunger or smell.
Give me an investigation check.
All right.
Oh, dog shit, 8.
Yeah, the vine is totally nondescript. You're certainly not like, oh, I've seen this at the last
Yeah,
sip
sure.
before. Nothing that indicates it of that kind. And no, certainly none of those effects, hunger, sort of that pounding sort of headache or feeling of something present. You don't get any of that here.
Okay. Go back to the group. Graven, your hatchet quickly.
Get out the hand axe.
Oh, thank you. And I'm gonna walk.
Should I be with you?
No, I think I'm all right.
Are you sure? Okay.
I'm going to walk over to one of the trees,
Well,
the
hang
same
on.
tree that I was at.
The one that
yes.
down.
Are we not worried about disrespecting this forest?
I'm not gonna hit the tree.
Okay, well then why are you having an
I'm
axe?
trying to communicate with it. Just let me try.
Threatening the tree?
No, just let me try and speak to it.
Okay.
That's the plan.
I think it's just a little longer before you can use it, but you should be able to use it before you get to this cavern.
I'm gonna go up to the tree that I was looking at before, and I'm going to use the hand axe to cut a gash in my hand here.
Okay.
So I want to see the moss. Is the moss still there?
You see that sort of again. It's not like full on moss, but
Yeah.
the
The
texture of
tendrils,
the
yeah.
blood. Yeah, it's kind of like it's like thick and kind of.
And I'm gonna put my hand
matted.
up against the part of the tree that wasn't there the night before.
Okay. You do so.
And I'm gonna wait a sec, and if I do I feel something or I'll speak to it. I'll sort of say,
If there is something haunting you, speak to me. If you need help, speak to me. What do you wish me to know?
okay. I'll wait like 10 minutes, and then I'll try and gently pull my hand off and see if there's made any connective. No.
Graven's just staring at your back the whole time, watching.
Does the blood seem to be interacting with the tree in any interesting, unusual way?
No, you've left a little bit of a stain there on the sort of mossy portion of the tree.
I'm sorry. I'll wrap my hand up a little bit and come back. Nothing.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
Are you all right?
Yes, I tried to communicate with the tree, but I felt nothing, heard nothing.
You seem odd.
It's strange.
More odd than you.
This is odd. We're hearing voices and hearing shuffling, and
No, I
the
understand.
trees are
This
growing.
is odd, but you in particular seem odd.
I am odded out by this.
I'm just. I don't know. You seem weird. Does he seem weird?
If he did, I don't think I would say it to
All
his
right, no,
face.
it's. I said nothing. You seem fine.
I tried last night to ask for your
Oh,
request, your inks.
how did it go?
I wasn't able to reach out at all.
That's okay.
Too close to the Shade Assembly or too upset of a friend?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Sucks.
Give me a religion check.
Saucy. Oh, okay. Oh my god, I always forget that you're.
Yeah.
The only thing is, as they're sort of prompting that, you didn't give it too much thought. You had kind of other things on your mind, but it didn't feel like a divine force was like blocking you in a insidious way or like a harmful way. But it almost felt like metaphorically, like it was a little like blinders, like something was trying to focus you, and it was like telling you to forget everything else and just focus.
Damn.
Oh boy.
Honestly, in the same way that everything that we experienced over the last night, it wasn't malicious. I feel like this place, the purpose of this place is to unsettle people and keep them out of this area.
That could.
Well, I am unsettled.
Oh, I guess it worked on him.
And so, if, again, the Shade Assembly or anyone in the Northeast here wanted to keep people uneasy and away from here, this would be effective. And as well as holding my magic capabilities.
I want to look through my bag, actual Erland's talking, see if I still have everything.
Yeah.
Nothing's missing,
Seeing
surprising.
him doing the same. Yeah.
Nothing's missing.
That would make sense as to why there's druidic talismans probably at this place. What if it's either
that be
present
useful
or as probably not, but either it was at
Talismans
one
can have some
point.
small magic essence to them that can
That
be
we
useful.
could like use.
Potentially,
presumably.
depends on what they are. Yeah.
Perhaps somebody is inhibiting these forests that wishes to be not what's the word? Relocated by the Shade Assembly, or is a magic long since passed like Heptactors, but let's
Perhaps.
actually be prepared to encounter possible druids or spellcasters here, not
Fuck's
just
sake,
nature.
yeah, I suppose.
Alright, so are we
I
we okay?
suppose.
Lead the way again.
also if somebody's if some
Safira, you go first. Get out there.
I can lead the way. I'm
if
happy
it is somebody who is inhabiting the forest and seems to be doing no harm, maybe we don't mess them up?
No,
to. I mean,
yes. I
sure.
agree.
I'm not interested in getting into a fight if we don't have to. Why would we do that?
Great.
Friends of the forest. We're friends of the forest now, yes?
Yes. I mean, we've been friendly to the forest at least. I think.
Well, that's good. We're friends of the forest.
I like this forest. It's great.
I say
actually.
outwardly.
Let's go.
Where she had the fire earlier, I'll just go over there and under the pretense of making sure I have all my things and kind of stamping out and leveling that out.
Yeah. I mean, it's
No.
well out at this point. They smothered it.
Or
But
just
yeah.
not leaving behind any.
Sure.
And as I get down, I'm gonna go into my pack and take the tooth out.
Fuck.
And just hold on to it. I had tried to break it at one point by
Yeah,
by,
just by
like,
squeezing. I think you
squeezing it.
fractured it
Yeah.
slightly. Yeah.
I not that hard, but I'll give it a firm squeeze and think about the image of my sister in the other plane. And I'll put that right in the middle of where that fire was and just stand up.
Group gathers their belongings. stand at sort of the threshold of this little inlet here with the rocky outcrop. Stare off in the direction of that sort of northeasterly passage that'll take you to where some of the trees are askew, and as the group
Proceed.
Yeah, I'm leading the way. I'm just I am making sure that I'm doing something right with my bow.
That's okay. I would say don't worry about that right now.
I will. Yeah, I'm just gonna start sort of heading in the direction where we know that this.
So Safira leading the way, and then Erland and Orba. And Graven's bringing up the rear. He sort of went back to sort of place something sort of on the ground there that people might have caught a glimpse at but didn't fully see what was happening. And it's Graven, as he's taking up the rear, that hears another one of those rustles, and you turn back, and the tooth is gone.
What?
You're the only one that notices that. So.
Just turn back and start walking.
That's where we're gonna take a little break.
Oh my
What
god!
the fuck?
How are you not? Why are you leaping?
What?
What is that? What is
I don't fucking know what it is.
What?
I don't want to fucking
What?
be a bitch to it. I want to
Oh my god.
respect it and leave it be behind.
Oh my god.
Ah, some Jumanji shit. I don't like it.
After a stressful evening, as we head towards the Sagging Caverns, that is where we're going to take a little break. We're going to take a quick 10 and we'll come back.
Oh my goodness.
As we said last week, and we'll continue going forward, enjoy a smattering of fun and games.
Yeah,
during
the
break.
games were such a hit that they're now the entire break
Yeah,
video.
we got new games.
We got the old games, but with different answers. We got
Sound effects.
Sound
Didn't have
effects.
them.
Some of the answers were wrong before. They're right
Yeah,
now.
they've been fixed. Some of the new ones are wrong. Guess which one?
Please.
So yeah, I hope you enjoy them. There's a couple clips too. No longer a recap, because who's got time for that?
Yeah,
The
we got
recap's on
games.
YouTube. You can find it there later. It's not important.
Yeah.
So
Thank
yeah.
you all, everybody, so much for watching. And when we come back, we will see where the forest takes us on this sort of pseudo road, taking us ever so slightly creeping closer and closer to the coast.
Okay.
See you when we get back.
All right, goodbye.
Welcome back, everybody. We hope that you enjoyed the break. We saw some excellent puzzling done by our viewers.
Noted about the word search.
Yes, you don't have to get all the words, so we
Anthony
worried about
got
making
it.
it too easy.
I think it's
Well, we
hard
had a
for
bigger
people
screen.
to use
No, that's what I know. I know it wasn't
yeah.
the difficult.
If you're watching on like
it's
a
hard
tablet or
to.
phone.
I
Don't feel
understand.
bad. Also, if you're bad at puzzles, same. Same. Me too.
We've got some excellent Rebus Prestigiouses.
Oh, they're good.
For future that's the picture puzzle one.
Oh.
That had me going. I was rolling
We
hard on
got-
one.
but people get those very quick. I'm very impressed by people's
Oh, yeah.
sleuthing.
Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
All right.
But enough of the fun.
Enough. Of the
Wait, you have to do fun things first.
Fun things.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, God.
Yes,
Oh, my
before we
goodness.
A gentleman doesn't
begin the
point.
track. Gentleman gestures.
Yeah.
You must fun things.
You're right. There
Alright,
wasn't enough
Ready?
of a flourish.
Here we go. Jack Power gifted community sub. The Pale Dragon subscribed. Welcome. Hello. Story X resubscribed. Just subscribed. Hello and welcome. Golden Dagger resubscribed. Ali Slayer did 100 bits. Jack Power did 10 community subs. Ali Slayer did 100 bits. Jay Brownie did 100 bits. Wachati did 100 bits. And then Ali Slayer again with a 200 bito.
Oh.
Thank you guys
Really
very,
proud
very,
of you.
very, very much.
Shut up. I don't need your approval.
I don't do this for you.
We greatly appreciate your support, including the support as we work our way through the woods.
No. Yeah, emotional support is what's necessary.
After Graven gives one last look back at the spot where the tooth once was.
Stop.
Can't leave, you're just leaving.
I was leaving it already.
Oh no, you left it.
What?
The group as one begins to move to the northeast. And the closer and closer you get to the forest askew, it isn't a dramatic shift in the makeup of the land or the vegetation. It's the same colors, same kinds of trees, no changes in the amount of light coming in or the light coming up through the trees, through the leaves overhead. Yet there does seem to be kind of an indefinable tone shift, like almost transitioning between movements of music within a larger composition. In a way not unlike when Graven feels the presence of the divine bearing down, or when Orba feels the fog of death around her, or when Safira senses distress among the spirits of the wild, just some of that innate feeling like something's present, something around. But this time it's Erland who's most affected by this environmental key change. Something dangerous, but also like virile, an atmosphere of kind of boundless life and growth. A couple of times, one of you spots a kind of angular or elevated silhouette, something once constructed to be sure, but rarely presenting anything more than a crumbling wall that bears no resemblance to a watchtower of any age. Perception checks for everybody.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
The stuff we saw growing, did it seem like plants that I'd seen before, or were they kind of nondescript? The stuff that had grown where we were keeping watch.
It seemed very mundane.
Like they weren't some of the plants that I'd learned from Blom.
No, they definitely weren't something that distinct, something that sort of
Sorry, perception?
defined. Yeah.
19.
7.
14.
Erland and Safira kind of leading the way are the first two to look off, and it's partially sort of good vigilance, but also just a little bit of positioning luck that allows you to see kind of down a clear lane to the north. So you're looking kind of off to your left a little bit. And there's a structure that hasn't yet fully succumbed to time.
Oh, tower.
A decent contender for a supposed place of lookout. And just beyond it, the forest floor begins to kind of taper off ever so slightly. Though the sunken ground makes a kind of optical illusion where it's hard to kind of gauge the distance. You're not sure you'll be able to see what might be kind of down below until you get closer, maybe even all the way to the watchtower itself. So this is like a few hundred feet off to your left. And you've been walking sort of on more solid ground, and then you can see off in the distance where the trees begin to kind of sink in.
I think that we've probably spotted our crumbling tower up there. Do you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Is that where we're supposed to go, the crumbling tower itself, or is that an indicator?
Identifier. Ruined remains of a small watchtower nearby.
It looks like it slopes down after there, so potentially we might not know exactly how deep that hole is until we get all the way up there, but I suppose we should start proceeding with caution now.
No, we should stop proceeding with caution 4
I mean,
hours
we've
ago.
been proceeding.
All right, relax. Can Orba take out her
Mary.
plant?
You can. It looks like it has swelled to the point of usability.
Don't.
To the point of...
Looks healthy.
Thank you. Well, is anybody interested?
Oh,
Bless you.
our friend.
Yeah.
Anyone who should use him? I don't know.
Anybody gonna feel particularly vulnerable in this place? What?
I'm pointing at him as I'm kind of saying that.
Why? Are you feeling vulnerable?
There are plants. I don't know. Isn't this the planty place?
I am feeling sort of something.
Oh my god.
Are you okay?
Yes, it just sort of noticing.
Definitely give it to him. Here.
No,
I'm
but
gonna kind of
no,
take.
no. But do you need protection? Do you need a buffer of health, perhaps?
No, I'm okay.
We just had a nice long rest. Are you alright? Are you gonna be with us in? Can I have the plant? I'm gonna reach out, just handed it over. Take it and do the thing.
All right.
I can see you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're gonna stay in your
I'm just.
no shiny eyes or shiny eyes?
I'm as I am.
Okay.
No shiny eyes.
I can see her.
Yep. Well, that's great. So I suppose we're ready once you do that. Just proceed carefully.
How much temp HP?
You can go ahead and read the...
You can either do 2d4 plus 2 temp, inspiration, or lower your sepsis.
How much is
I'm gonna throw this plant in the
Just one.
woods.
I know. He's
Nope. I'm going to take some temp HP.
okay. 2d4 plus 2.
Come on, there we go.
Feel the energy of the plant pouring into
Four.
Inspiration?
4,
Oh my
8,
god!
10 temp HP.
Go.
Feeling
Thank
the
you, sweet
full-
baby plant. Thank you, Frederick.
And
The
then-
very sort of overgrown kind of potent energy around you in this area seems to seep into the plant and then byproduct into you after that.
And then don't forget to roll.
Yeah, what do I do for the?
Roll a d6, and on a 1 it has to be activated again.
God damn.
We're just good.
All right. Fred is tapped.
Remains in a
Freddie.
state of
Eddie
utility.
Mercury.
Seeing how Stanley is,
How standing you
tall
are.
Stanley,
Standing by.
how much he drew from that, will give him a push out front to lead the way.
Erland falls.
Okay.
I feel good.
All
That
right.
was useful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel good too. Is there anything? Do I know anything about identifying a sinkhole? Like, would I have any familiarity with what changes of like texture or whatever to look out for?
Possibly. It depends on how it was formed, like over what period of time. Like something where there was water running underneath could collapse like very,
Yeah,
very
for
quickly,
sure,
as opposed
for
to just
sure.
like a kind of a slow erosion
It's not
over
quicksand
time.
really that we're looking for. It's more like
Unless it's if there's water running underneath, it's possible that there's, if it's not quicksand, certainly sort of just hazardous terrain. Yeah. Anything else in particular you're looking for?
yeah. So I guess as we're walking up here, I want to be looking carefully at especially the ground, just to sort of notice where there might be any changes in texture, where I might hear groundwater, where I might like notice something being more dense or wet than other places.
Sure.
Yeah. I
Okay,
just
great.
keep my
So
eyes
you
on
guys
that.
approach. Are you headed in that direction?
Yeah, I think we're
Towards
headed
the
towards
tower,
the
yeah,
tower.
Towards
Yeah.
the tower. Okay. Everybody, give me perception checks.
Okay. 14.
Oh my god.
Oh, you're bad at this.
Natural one.
11.
8.
8 actually.
As you guys are moving along, Safira's kind of very focused on the ground around her, and as she's doing that, it's Orba who hears the first kind of semblance of a sound that you kind of heard before, which is just some of that. And they're not coming toward you or anything, but you do see just beyond the watchtower, like a few bat-like creatures sort of emerge from just beyond where that little ridge kind of dip off is.
Okay, friends. I think we are approaching, so there's Sturges. How would we like to deal with them? The same way we dealt with before, where we hide?
I think it's gonna have to depend. If we're in a position where we're gonna have to deal with them, then we might have to deal with them. But if we can hide without them being in the same area where we're gonna be in the sinkhole, then I say we hide.
A flock like that, I do not think that we can.
We hide, and however, what we learned was we need to. If one discovers us, it needs to be killed quickly. Otherwise, it will alert the flock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where exactly are we trying to get to? Is it a
It says it's a big hole in the ground.
big hole
Into the
Look for a
sinkhole.
big hole.
into the sinkhole? I thought there were
Yeah.
several sinkholes.
Also,
There's one main
There's a
one.
single big hole.
There
remember-
might be several, but he seemed to have indicated one in particular.
He
on
said-
his contract.
also when he was talking to us, that we should be careful of the terrain, that it could just collapse on us. So I'm trying to keep an eye out for anything that's different, I don't know, in texture or
Okay.
smell, feel, I don't fucking know, but make sure you're aware of anything different. We should probably try to walk in a straight line. That way, if one of us falls, then we can at least I don't know.
Wouldn't we
pick them
want
up.
to not go in a straight line, and so as to not
Well, the more we
distress
spread
the...
out, the less we know. If that way, at least if we know there's a sinkhole in front of us, we can stop moving, get the person out, and then continue in a different area.
I'm saying that if we go in a straight line, the first person depresses a little, second a little more, third either falls
we would
in or...
ideally stop moving as soon as we see the first person starting to sink. If we spread out sort of vertically, then we have as twice as well, not twice, but we have many more possibilities to sink into the terrain, and then if we do, we have less recourse to know how to navigate to get them out. So we might just get stuck again, if that makes sense.
Let's just all be sure that we are within 60 feet of me, because I can prevent you from taking some significant damage as you fall.
Well, I'm less worried about falling. If we're sinking into, I don't know, mud, we could suffocate and die that way too.
Do we have climber's kits still?
That sounds terrifying. I have one.
You have one?
Yeah.
Do you have one?
I might.
Even just a piece
check.
of rope.
Let me see, let me
For
see.
what purpose? To what end?
Just in case someone starts sinking.
Oh, wait,
they
no.
can be...
I
No,
don't.
I don't
I
have
don't
a
have a
climber's kit either.
We got rid of all of them?
Yes.
Well, I don't think we did it on purpose, but yeah.
We had missing quite a lot of saddlebags, as you can see.
Yes.
Okay, so we could have a vote, but I'm actually in agreement with Graven where we spread out and don't put too much stress on an individual location.
Well, no, I
We're
was
only
thinking
about
that
10
we
feet away
we
from each other.
Exactly. We would be about 10 or 15 feet away from each other in a straight line.
Oh, in a
That way,
Okay.
if one
Let's
of
do
us,
that. Yeah.
not
like
back
that.
to back, but you know.
Okay, let's do that then.
Right.
Good. I'll be in the center so that I can have vantage on everybody if they fall.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
I'll be behind Safira.
Everybody
I'll go
keeping
in
an eye.
first.
Great. Just with the sort of general consensus and understanding, like looking to see if maybe the person in front of you, if something they step on sort of has a weird kind of angle to it, or if something starts to sink or
Or if
stick.
it like depresses more.
Yeah, or if like your boot sticks into the soil more so than usual. And you guys continue on. Some maybe 60 or so feet from the watchtower. You start to see the beginnings of what Mr. Nesbitt maybe has designated as the Sagging Caverns. It's this enormous, like 150-foot diameter hole in the ground, an enormous cavity. A mixture of kind of sheer and sloping sides. It kind of has the look of very rapid erosion, water moving underground that maybe caused a sudden collapse, and left behind a kind of eerie but also kind of beautiful overgrown little pocket in the earth here. There's one bridge of land that extends kind of out into the center, almost like the minute hand of a clock. A tower of rock that's proved particularly sturdy even as the area around it kind of crumbled and sank. And now, when you hear them here and there, the sounds of furiously flapping wings are suddenly very cacophonous. There's quite a lot of echo in the cavern here that makes the noise linger even long after the initial sort of sounds of screeching. But you are a little taken aback as you approach that an area so lush has actually a relative dearth of animal activity. Other than the sturges that you've seen, very little wildlife creeping through this area. I'm going to, give me 1 second, but I'm going to show you guys what you guys are looking at here. Let's let this board load.
How are we getting out of this thing?
Very
All
carefully.
right, people can throw their monitors on.
Don't worry, I have 1,000 potions of water breathing now.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
For when we sink into the mud.
We're sure we can't
Yeah.
have potions of mud breathing, right? There's no.
I mean, mud is water.
No, it's not.
So, this is what you guys are looking at. You're coming at it from this angle, so you haven't quite approached. This is the watchtower over here, this sort of crumbling tower that you guys are seeing. And then you see kind of where there's a lip, and then it sort of descends, and you can't see over the edge yet because you're not close enough. But there's this sort of open cavity in the earth there. This is that. There's like an area sticking out into the middle of the pillar there that I was describing. That's almost like the kind of minute hand of a clock. So you can kind of walk out, and if you looked over the edge, you'd be able to see kind of right down.
So that's a steep drop. I was expecting a slope.
Some of it is steeper than others. Like some parts are very steep, and some have. So it varies depending on kind of how the ground came together. So you guys are still a little ways off. You're a little further back, sort of looking at this from a distance.
Okay.
Perhaps we get to the
It's a
watchtower,
deep fucking hole. Okay.
climb up a little bit and try and get an angle downwards.
Do you think, kind of looking at the watchtower, does it seem like it still has enough structural integrity to have us climb up, or no?
It's made of stone, so it certainly has some, and it's at least survived some degree of the ground, like crumbling or sort of decompressing a little bit. You might have to be careful, but it's held up to some degree.
That looks precarious, mate, but I suppose one of us could try.
I could try and climb it a little bit.
I
Just
mean,
to get a
be
vantage
very
point.
careful.
Of course, I always am.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, we're gonna move up close enough to the.
You get all the way up to the edge of and now you're kind of close enough, and you guys are watching Erland. You get close enough to that corner there.
Sorry, just as we've been moving towards it, do I see any plants that seem either familiar or enhanced in a way that would be surprising? Like a fern that I recognize that's too large or something like like
No,
that? Okay.
nothing of that kind.
Whoa.
That's
a big bird.
Get up to the edge of the watchtower, you kind of place your hand on the stone, give it a little sort of push there. Feels sturdy enough. As you move around the corner there,
I want to be quiet just in case there's, animals roosting
it
in
looks like once you kind of creep around this corner, there will be kind of an area where you could climb over this little or go all the way around the corner and get into the kind of watchtower itself. Give me a stealth check.
Hey, we just got raided. Hello and welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome.
everybody.
What up?
Singularity roleplay. Thank you.
there. You're just in time for this fucking stealth check.
there we
24.
Language.
There we go.
Damn, I'm so
Very,
sorry
very
about
quietly. There's some stone here as opposed to the forest floor that makes it easier to step from solid surface to solid surface. So nothing's kind of snapping under your feet or making any unexpected noises. You creep closer and closer and you kind of do a mini vault kind of over the edge of the wall here.
Yeah, I want to, right where that sort of V is, I want to try and get a quick look in first.
Sure, you peer inside and you see a crumbling nothing, like sort of one sort of edge here that was closest to the Sagging Caverns. Looks like it completely kind of crumbled and started to trickle down toward the opening there.
Okay, I want to try and... what can I land on if I go sort of over that?
Yeah, if you just head over that, you can land
great.
on this kind of thing here.
Yeah, I'm going to go there.
Great, you hop over the side there.
And I want to move...
So Erland kind of disappears there for a moment. You watch him kind of just hop to the left a little bit and disappears from
We're not worried.
do I have a view of what's sort of below me there? Like what's below that ledge?
It looks like there's
goes
some kind of
underneath.
basement for this sort of watchtower.
What's... I'm going to first go in a westward direction towards those stairs.
Like upstairs?
Yeah,
Like
up the
here?
upstairs. Yeah,
Sure.
I'm gonna be quiet and try and listen for any footsteps on stone, and try and make my way up those stairs.
The only things you hear are your own footsteps, and at one point there's and you watch as a couple more sturges just emerge from the pit. Nothing heading towards you, nothing paying you any
So
particular.
I'm gonna try and get to the very tippy top there.
Get to the very tippy top platform there.
And can I get a view into the?
And you look into the caverns themselves. So from here, you have a pretty good view. And inside, you can see that it's sort of a lot of steep kind of rocks that have crumbled from, and as you said, there's water pooling in the bottom of this. So some kind of, and you guys know that you're getting closer and closer to the shoreline, so some kind of underground network of water seems to have over time sort of sunken in and then eventually it kind of collapsed in on itself. It looks mostly like still water. You see a couple kind of trickling over rocks, little water pooling into each other, but mostly sitting kind of at the bottom.
If I were to climb up that last sort of little pillar there, would that give me an even better vantage point?
Sure, yeah.
I'll carefully, and I'll climb on the north side, so that if I were to fall, I'd only fall.
Give me an acrobatics check.
Oh, I thought that was that one. 13.
13. At this point, you see Erland emerge. You see like a hand kind of pop up, pulls himself up here. To
Sort of
the,
like almost like gargoyle myself on the top there, staying nice as low as possible.
Great. So you look off, and
The stretch
we'll say that you can see, even a little further in. So there's a
cool,
number
cool,
of kind of flat stones there at the bottom that look like they.
I see any creatures, any movement?
Give me a perception check.
Should have brought the spyglass.
Oh, Jesus.
10.
Nothing that you can see from here. In fact, just as like it was during the approach, an area like this in a usual forest or something with water and the lush sort of vegetation, you would expect animals to be all over this place. And the only things you've seen so far is the occasional sturge.
Okay, I'm gonna work my way back down the little pillar, back down the stairs, and I want to try and take a look into the basement area.
Okay,
Just have a
heading
search
down
in
into
there,
the
yeah,
basement. Give me a investigation check.
12.
12. You find nothing in the basement except a little bit of graffiti scrawled on the wall.
Yes.
That says the Shade Assembly ain't nothing but a gob of shit in wizard's robes. That's it. Someone insulting the Shade Assembly has scrawled something on the wall there.
Oh. Okay. I didn't read too much into that. Okay, I'm gonna quietly make my way up.
Maybe 15 minutes pass as Erland had disappeared. You watched him poke up above the top and then disappear back down and then return.
So how close am I to the very ledge right there now?
When you come
If I
down
come back
from the
out,
tower,
yeah.
I mean, the tower, the edge of the tower there is
Okay,
45, 50 feet from the edge.
I want to get fully prone
Okay.
and sort of like army crawl my way to the edge.
You may do so.
Quietly.
Ever so slightly, like
I want to get right up to that sort of exactly. I want to try so I can peek down.
Give me a perception check as you get up to the edge there.
Okay, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. As you get up to the edge, you can now hear you're not in the cavity yet, but you can hear the echoing is kind of around you now. It's almost like swallowing you up. And as you look around, there isn't much sort of in this main interior of the cabin, but it does look like maybe over there, there's a couple like entry points to other areas of the caverns. There's one right there that you can kind of see from a distance. So beyond this main sort of cavern, it looks like there are little corridors or tunnels offshooting into other areas.
And just sort of so I get my bearings on Talespire here, the sort of area where the water continues out, is that sort of moving more north towards where the coast is?
Where the water continues.
So or is this just a straight up sinkhole? I guess. I thought that there was water moving.
No,
through,
the water at the base
stopped.
is like
So
completely
cool.
still.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'm gonna sort of still no animals, even if I'm looking right over. No like single big sturge flock.
Nope.
Cool. Gonna crawl back a little bit and very quietly scamper back to the group.
Give me the stealth check.
17.
17, great. Slowly but surely working your way back, making sure not to make any quick sudden movements that might garner any attention. You work your way back to the party.
It is suspiciously quiet. There's nothing in the
didn't
watchtower.
see anything.
Nothing.
So predator, yes?
One would think, but you would
Either
think
that or the terrain is so harsh and so unforgiving
given how
that nothing's decided to settle there.
would
Although
be-
I think it's more likely that it's a combination of both.
it's strange that there's this much vegetation, lushness, things for animals to eat. You
Well,
would
there's
think
plenty of food, plenty of
so
shelter, plenty of. You would think
predator, or perhaps
predator, curse, terrible terrain, all of the above.
perhaps magic that is imbuing the forest.
That's what I'm saying. Curse.
Not necessarily a curse.
But you know,
Bad magic.
Safira loves to throw that.
Yeah.
It's cursed.
It
They're
was
all
like,
cursed.
everything that's bad
Everything
magic
she
is
doesn't
just
like is a curse.
Yeah, that's
This wine, curse.
cursed.
Graven and Safira, can you explain to me, since you are the seasoned hunters, pledges? It seems like from the description it says the pledges are expanding the caverns. The way that it's emphasized and specified that it's the pledges makes it think that those are the primary threat.
What are pledges?
What are they?
You don't know what a pledge mage is. The description sounds vaguely druidic. Like it sounds like they're intelligent creatures enough to like expand the cavern. So, but you don't know exactly what that is.
So can I see the contract?
Sure.
I saw
Is it like a myconid where it's like
I haven't run into
humanoid
Semi-
I don't know.
Semi-sentient,
Because I was-
vegetative.
I was curious. It would be
Weather blue.
best if we only had to face one of these things. The sturges seem like a lesser enemy and possibly something that we could draw out before going in,
I don't know.
rather than face it all at once.
So
I don't know if we're
I
going to be
per-
able to draw anything out.
I perhaps have a
Should
lead on.
Try.
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
perhaps have a lead on the pledges. It seemed that there were at least two areas that I could see where the sinkhole had been sort of constructed inwards, perhaps
Okay.
like a dug inwards. So perhaps that could be a system of caverns, perhaps created by the pledges.
Sure. But what I'm saying is, rather than go in there and upset all of these things, the sturges we at least know are drawn by sound. Perhaps is there a way that we can get those out of there? Either
I didn't
kill
see
them-
any sturges in there.
Well, they might be in the thing. They might be in the cavern.
I looked in. I didn't see anything.
No, like in the spots you're talking about.
Yes, perhaps.
I mean, you have all of you have seen surges
Yeah.
come up out
Yeah.
of the sinkhole.
We have a few small concussive bombs that we could possibly strategically throw into a cavern just to see.
Unlike the bandit camp and the temple that we've sort of looked at on Emmett Nesbitt's shit list, this seems to be a much more expansive area without a singular
Cache.
sort of threat.
Sure.
Or even a cache, actually. So I think it's a question of trying to very quietly peruse the area and see if we can't find anything.
Oh, so you think this is a stealth situation?
Yes, extremely. I think that
Well, if
it's not
that's-
in the way that the temple was. We needed to destroy a certain thing, dispel the magic, and then we would get something in return.
Sure.
This is an instance where, yes, these creatures might be near the magical things, but if we can proceed
Well,
quietly...
I suppose then should we try to go round to the other side of this big hole and see if we can't get a vantage point there to see if we can't see anything else that looks like a predator or a cache. If we're gonna do this the quiet way, then we're gonna have to take more time too.
I'm correct in saying that I have seen everything you can see from probably the above.
You saw, like, if you got all the way up to the edge, which you did, you were able to see pretty much straight down. So unless there was something under,
Like a cave directly underneath.
Yeah, but you were able to see pretty much straight down from where you were. Where
Right.
you just saw mostly kind of water.
I've seen pretty much all there is to see.
Well, then where do you think we should start?
I think we try. Did I see a particularly easy place to climb down?
Someplace that doesn't need a climbing kit.
There's all kinds of places, a lot of which require kind of climbing. I mean, there's, rocky. There's climbing down no matter where you're going.
Yeah, and nothing that wasn't a sheer drop.
There's a sheer drop, at least partially, a lot of places. There's water you can dive
How deep did the water look? Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
It looked very brackish, so hard to tell.
Cool.
I mean,
Should we throw something into the water and see how fast we
I
hear it
have
fall?
Featherfall. We can descend without detection.
Oh, good.
Oh,
How do we
really?
get back out?
I don't know.
Do you have levitate again?
Nope.
Oh.
That would be way too costly.
Well,
each of us individually.
the thought that I had is I was hoping, and I don't know what's gonna, sort of lie in one of those caverns, but I'm assuming that if they're being expanded, then potentially we could get out through one of those passageways.
I would say what we should.
I don't know if we should count on it, but if we're not equipped to climb, unfortunately.
I think
so that's
we-
another thing we have to take into consideration. If we get stuck down there with something that's attacking us and we can't get out, then we're in a right shit scenario.
I think we should. Yes. I mean, we'll need to flee. I think that what we should do is walk around the sinkhole to one of the areas where I saw it being expanded.
Okay.
And perhaps drop down quietly using Featherfall there, so that we don't have to traverse as much land in a sort of uncharted, potentially dangerous area. We can
Again,
walk up
what's
here,
our plan for getting back out?
We climb.
climbing with
Well, then
with
should-
panic.
Right, okay.
Quick
Well,
climbing.
then I'm gonna have to say this. Should we all go down there? If we're gonna have to climb out, should we all be down there? Orba, I feel very strongly, and you're great. I like you. You're not a great climber. I'm sorry. You're not great at climbing.
We need to stick together, Safira. We can't split up in such an unknown area.
You also
Right.
can't have your mage not going into a place filled with
Magic.
magic.
I know you're right. I just like you, and I don't want you to die.
I like you too, and I would rather not die as well. So why don't we all go in there, mess up whatever's in there, and then we can leave at our leisure?
This is a
I don't
mysterious.
know. Okay.
This is a mysterious place. We must proceed quietly. Prioritize silence, and I'll lead you
I'm
to
just
where
saying,
I
without
think
a
we can
climbing
get in,
kit, should we be doing this
I
at
could
all?
make silence again. That is,
if need be.
yes.
I don't think we need that right now up here.
All right.
I understand we can try and find a way to climb out.
Well, I would like to know our exit plan before we go in there.
All right, let's get to the view. Let's get to where we're going to drop down, and then we'll look for an area to climb out. All right?
So we're gonna drop down and then figure out how to get
No,
out.
we're going to get to the area around the edge.
So that's the thing I'm
We're
trying
gonna-
to
No,
avoid.
we're gonna-
We're going to get.
Yes.
We're going to walk very quietly around the edge.
Yes, I like this.
Then we're going to look down
Okay.
and try and find an escape route.
Yeah.
And then we're all going to jump together.
Once we find an escape route,
Yes.
we are going to use
Sure.
Featherfall.
This is also
to
wildly
descend
optimistic that we're
quietly.
going to be able to utilize that escape route. I guess knowing that there is one is...
There was nothing in that
Well, we
watchtower
need to know
like
at least
rope,
where
was
one
there?
is,
No.
so that if there's panic and chaos, we can say run
Very-
to this escape route.
So old that someone easily could have come by ages ago and ransacked it, looted it. There was nothing there.
Follow me quietly, all right?
Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
Erland's going to sort of go the path that he took before, because I'm not mistaken, if I get to the
don't
watch...
like this.
Walk away out.
Well, you're fine.
I swear we kept one climbing kit, but
I thought we did too.
I thought we did too.
The person with 11 slots isn't keeping it.
You sure you don't have one?
I'm 99.9% sure that I don't have one.
Erland's going to
That's
take the path that I
basically
took
100%.
before.
I had one when I had saddlebags, but then I couldn't
they were in
fit.
the
They were in the
saddlebags.
A lot of things have been ditched.
Dead horses.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the route that I took first, and then I'm going to sort of... can you show me where the two entries that I saw were in the...
Yeah, when you were up to the
Roughly,
edge, there
yeah.
was one kind of off to your left and one off to your right, basically.
The one off to the left looks easier to get to, so I'm going to go lead them up to the edge here, and then start working my way around sort of northeasternly around the...
Okay, stealth checks, everybody.
Come on, friends. That's very bad.
God, you're leading the way too with such confidence.
16.
That's lame. You
17.
idiot.
8.
Wow.
21.
There we go.
God, thanks
Picking him up.
Erland takes the lead here. He takes you kind of just along the side of that watchtower, and you begin to circle sort of clockwise around the edge. And Erland had described it to you, but you guys get to the edge here. The scope of it and the water at the bottom glistening with the sun kind of coming in directly overhead. It's, again, majestic, but also sort of eerie and terrifying. The stillness of it, the sort of odd kind of lack of activity inside. No animals, no sort of splashing in the water, nothing.
And I'm not even
indicates
seeing like
creatures.
little things, am I? Like I'm looking for bugs now. I'm like looking for any
Oh my God.
signs of
Like where you are, you can't see bugs inside the cavern from here.
No, I know. I just mean where I am.
Yeah, you haven't, but you have not seen any sort of activity of that
That's
kind.
really weird.
And you guys start to circle around. As you guys kind of get to this little pathway here that looks like, again, it was once constructed and has since kind of deteriorated over time, you weave between a couple of these larger bushes, and Erland, that's leading the way, kind of his footsteps just quietly on the stone there. It's quiet, it's not loud, and you don't actually think that the sound is sort of permeating outward, but you look around just to be absolutely sure, and in that moment, the person who's standing directly behind you sees something just wrap
Vines.
around your ankle, and I need you to give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh shit. Here we go.
Cool. Assassin.
16. It wraps around, and immediately you feel that. You jerk your leg back, and just, it had already circled around your ankle, and it didn't sort of restrain or grasp around you, but the thorns kind of just pull on your ankle, and there's a little bit of blood seeps out as you pull your ankle against it. You take just a little bit of piercing damage, take 3 piercing damage, and immediately as you pull out, the vine kind of retreats back into the nearby sort of shrubbery.
How does the wound on my leg look?
Normal. Regular blood.
What's happening to me?
Do we all see that? Do we?
Yes, I mean, immediately it happens so fast, but certainly the people behind Erland, sort of, you saw that quick motion. It almost looked like a snake, just like the snapping motion of it so quickly.
See what I was worried about when it comes to climbing?
Do we think that this has a heart somewhere?
Almost
Is there a-
certainly. Absolutely. I'm sure there is. Whether or not we're going to be able to locate it in a timely manner, I have no idea.
Proceed quietly, careful stepping. It only got me because I was a little too loud on the steps here.
Okay, let's keep going.
Quietly, quietly, quietly.
Okay.
That we don't need to fight something to get the rewards here.
I understand, but don't stand too close to the edge because it can flip you off.
Smart. So I'll lead you all down that pathway there.
Great. Continue along the edge here. What's the marching order here? Erland front.
I'll be behind
Middle.
them.
Back,
Middle.
I guess.
All the way at the back, Raven, all the way at the back.
Boop, boop.
Great. Start to creep further and further. So you get to this kind of edge here where you thought, yeah, there it is right there. So you get to about here where you can look down and see this area looked like it went off into another sort of cavern or something.
Okay, so how... Right where you have that sort of circle there.
Yep.
How high would that climb be?
From where you are?
From where
From
we
this
were.
ledge up to the top is about 35 feet.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yes?
that's like
I
this.
just saw you buffer.
Like there's
Yeah.
nothing in between them.
There is nothing
Yeah.
from here to here.
Yeah.
Yikes.
There are parts where where it's solid, but not there. That's a sort of open.
Yeah.
Are there any
There might be some roots you can kind of try and grab onto with a leap and then pull yourself up.
Roots, you say?
All right, I'm gonna sort of, like I did when I was by myself, I'm gonna get on my stomach and lean over the edge and lie down so you can see over.
Okay.
I'm looking for vines first along the ground here before I lay down.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, can I not lean down? I'm gonna stay up.
You may? Yeah.
Do we see any sensible escape? So first of all, there is where I think we can tunnel inwards.
Points out. So it's over there.
Do we see a place where we could safely escape?
I mean,
Perhaps the rocks next to it, and the vines above that sort of cave.
The roots and the vines we might be able to use to climb back out.
yeah, is there anything that looks like a particularly, like, easy to climb path?
Easy's relative, but there's a root system kind of here that goes all the way
Somewhere
to the
we know
top.
we would at least have traction
Okay,
to be
yeah.
able to climb.
There's a route that goes all the way from top to bottom.
So,
I mean, I don't love it. Obviously, what I love more is something that's less steep and precarious and didn't lead to a drop that would almost certainly
also,
kill us.
I have a climber's kit. I'm so sorry.
You do. You idiot.
As I lay down, I felt the sort of thing in my
We have,
chest.
we have no time for rebuke.
Quiet. I'm going to.
Obviously gonna use it.
We find a spot that we're going to hook it in at the top here. I will take a few minutes and cast silence so that we can install it quietly.
Oh, smart.
That's really smart.
Sorry, it was when I lay down I felt the thing.
Okay.
Shut up. Where do we want this? Where do we want this?
Where would you
Python
like
guy
it?
in the
Where do we
groin.
want to put this?
Oh, I have one.
Where do we want to install it?
I think
Let's go by the roots over there, yeah? No, away from roots.
I'm starting to do some of the mutterings and stuff because I know it takes 10 minutes.
Right. What's wrong with
Because I don't have to choose it until the end of the 10 minutes.
Yes, for what?
So for a ritual casting of silence,
Yes.
could I just begin to start the not concentrating on a spot quite
Yeah,
yet?
you don't have to sort of be focused.
Lead me there. I'm just gonna start like.
What about right here? Is there anything wrong with right here?
I'm wondering if there's a good place where we're unlikely to encounter those vines, because if we're trying to climb up,
I think they're going to be everywhere, and I also think we need to start being
or at least where we can have them be
completely
more
silent.
visible. I mean, at least in a place where they're not going to be obscured by other things.
Put it wherever. I don't care.
We're right.
But we gotta start being quiet, I think.
Can you move your mouse?
You guys are
We're
like right here.
there, yeah. It's fairly open here, Safira.
Okay.
Rather than going over to where those roots
Okay,
and
I
stuff.
suppose that here is fine then.
And we can sort of drape it
As
down.
long as we have a path, it's fine.
It's a 30-foot rope too, right? So
What does the climber's kit say?
I think it's 50.
It's 50 feet.
It's 250.
25 feet. 20. Nope.
225.
225.
50 total.
225.
So,
Yes.
And you could.
Oh, right. Because yes.
And how far down did you say?
It's 35, I think it was. Yeah, it's 35.
I know, but do we want to save one?
Not, there's no point in having a rope if we can't reach it.
I can reach 10 feet.
Oh, you're right. So can I.
Put you up.
I'm like,
Don't even try me.
Erland's only like 4 feet tall. He can't reach it.
What do you guys do?
I'm still doing my mutterings here, waiting for them to point out a spot for me.
So, yeah,
Yes.
okay.
I'll give the climber's kit to Graven.
I'm in the middle of
Oh,
something.
sorry. I'll have it. I'll be at the ready then, waiting for Graven's go ahead.
and genuinely, if it's anything like last night, I think we need to be quiet.
Okay. Should we come up with any signals?
Don't get too
with our-
quiet.
Should we come up with any signals with our hands or faces or something?
You were in the military, wouldn't you just do like a this or like a
Okay,
this? Or like
okay. Once he's out of this spell, I think this
Not in it.
means run. Okay?
Run.
I don't know. We can come up with something else.
Raven's about to finish this spell. He's been working on this
I
for a
think
while.
we can read
I mean, I
body
know
language
where it's
pretty
gonna
good.
go, I think.
Okay.
I don't know if we have to come up with stuff. I think we'll see panic in our eyes. I think we'll be fine.
This means flee. This
Sure.
means get the fuck out.
Okay, got it.
Get the fuck out.
Benji, got it. Okay.
All right, Graven, where's this going?
So I'm
Benji,
gonna
who's
put
dead?
it so that
Maybe not.
if
What's
if
the
I know
size of it there?
it's a 20. I'll tell you in a moment. 20-foot radius.
Okay. Right.
So I want to put it so that where we're installing it, kind of at the lip, is really kind of at the top edge, and that the rock face, as much as the rock face is possible, is covered by it. So
Maybe even a little lower than that.
yeah. It probably will. Oh, 40
There,
feet. Yeah, it'll
20
probably get the whole thing, right? Yeah, if it's 20-foot radius. 20-foot radius sphere. Yeah. Great. So it maybe even gets where we touch down.
Yes.
Yeah.
It sort of. If that there's like one little spot at the
Yeah.
bottom there where.
So that
everybody
if we're standing up here, we hear, and as soon as we crouch down, we're like in
Yeah.
there.
So
Right.
as Erland had kind of at the ready there with the sort of piton and the hammer, and then just the silence envelops you. Eventually, Erland gets it stuck into the rock.
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna touch you. I'm gonna stand up out of the sphere.
The sounds washing back over you.
Think too about the vibrations.
I'm gonna stand up.
Takes the earbuds out.
Think too about the vibrations. plants don't hear, they feel.
Oh, okay.
I just thought of that.
Right. Gonna go back down.
You'd already hit it a couple
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
I'm gonna go for smaller ones.
Hard to get it firmly anchored without giving it some real muscle.
Let's just keep an eye out.
Silent sort of smashing of the hammer. You get it firmly wedged between a couple of larger stones. Give it a nice tug. You even sort of back up on the upper level and give it a...
I'm gonna tie the 2 ropes together so it's full length,
You do
20,
so.
50 feet.
Yep.
And Erland's gonna sort of carefully, slowly. Actually, first I'll slowly lower the rope down, see if I see anything visually respond to it, and then get myself over the edge and very slowly, like using my feet as well, try and go down. And
Wouldn't silence muffle the vibrations of stuff as well, considering the fact that, like...
sound is vibrations.
I mean, if
Kind of, yeah.
if something was close enough in total silence, you could still feel something like...
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah, the
so
vibrations
it
through the
depends.
ground.
Yeah.
Right.
No, yeah.
That's what I meant. It was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my way very slowly down.
Erland's feet touch all the way down to the bottom there onto that little sort of rocky shelf sort of just at the lip there.
Okay, Orba's. Nope. Nope. Orba bows very
Oh
deeply.
no!
Graven slaps his forehead.
I'm gonna start going down.
I push
Suit.
him.
Safira follows suit
I just
all the way
fall and
down to the
land.
bottom.
Orba taps Graven, pokes her nose. Okay. Orba climbs down.
In silence, ever so carefully moving down all the way to the bottom.
We'll take one last look kind of in this area up here.
Give me a perception check. 12. Okay. Nothing that concerns you?
Yeah, movement or
No,
vines.
nothing
Yeah.
of any kind.
Look down at them, smiles.
You get in position there, you sort of grab the top end of the rope, you start to put your feet against the rock to kind of lower yourself down, and just as you have those 2 hands kind of at the top and you start to let go of one so that you can let yourself down a little bit more, you feel just a brushing of fingertips just as you've let go of that hand, and then it's gone. Just in a moment, as if something
Right.
ever so slightly
Okay.
ran its fingers along your
So
fingers.
Does it feel malicious, or does it feel?
Hard
trying
to,
to-
I mean, it's just a touching. I suppose no, but
Like a brush, like I guess intentional. Does it? Versus like I went by something or something.
it does feel like fingertips. So in that sense, it like if you just accidentally brushed by something, it would be unlikely that you sort of touch with the tips of your fingers.
Yeah.
So intentional, yeah.
Oh.
You guys all watch Graven kind of pause at the top of the rope there.
Yeah, I'm gonna look down at them kind of with a stern gaze, and then finish coming down the rest of the way.
Graven lowers himself down.
Erland's gonna get low and make my way towards, moving northeast to try and get to the edge of that cave.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh,
So you're coming out of the silence here?
so.
Great. So finally that silence dissipates around you, and now that you're sort of in here, the hollow quality of sound kind of overtakes you, the cacophony of it. It feels like it's almost like slowly cupping your hands over your ears, like it has that kind of just muffling kind of weird sensation. And curiously, it also has almost like a sensation of pressure, like you were diving to the bottom of a very deep pool of water, and yet you're very much still in the open air. You hear dripping and trickling water kind of all around you from the sort of still pools, little sort of, not even waterfalls, is way too strong, just little tendrils of water dripping kind of further and further down into the sort of lowest possible area there. At one point, as you're creeping closer to that edge, you're startled by a kind of a little splash. And you quickly look, and you guys see, because you can't hear this, you see Erland react very strongly, and all heads turn, and it looked like a little frog kind of hopped up onto the edge, kind of down here. sort of just exiting that brackish pool of water up into this sort of shallow area, and then it just hops a couple more times and then splashes into the other side. So it appeared there for a moment, hop, hop, and then into the water on the other side there. And you guys noticed that.
What was the
Frog.
Just a frog, just a sort of...
Oh, okay, so not no life. Good.
It was a head. Just a head.
I'm gonna get myself to the corner and try and look in.
Give me a perception
Are
check.
the ladies moving?
Fuck,
Are we
8.
moving?
Are people following Erland out
Yeah,
of the
I was
silence?
gonna follow him out. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna wait until I got maybe like an all clear or something.
Okay, so Orba hovering at the edge of the silence there, Graven.
Figure I'm stealthy enough.
You'd have to kind of push past Orba there.
I'll wait.
Okay. Perception check.
8.
8. As you creep closer and closer and closer, there is a troubling sound that you're able to discern it very quickly because of its familiarity, which is just...
Coming from inside the cave?
Yes, coming from further in. And this time, not just one or two little creatures,
Kind of motion to Erland.
quite a bit of...
And I'm gonna get down.
I'm gonna follow Safira's lead.
You guys do so.
Orba's in the circle, not seeing them get alarmed, and she's like clapping and trying to make noises. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm gonna point at them.
Can I kind of turn as I'm down and just wave to them to get down?
Nothing comes out of the corridor. It just sounds like there is... And that goes on.
Is there any good place to... is that sort of... Are there any, like, rock faces that we could kind of, like, in there? Can we, like, wedge ourselves under a rock to hide? Is there, like, a little... I'm sort of looking at the thing right behind Safira. Is that
No,
something that we
you
can
can't-
lay down? Okay.
It's pretty sheer there, the rock, kind of, until you get...
I'm gonna try and pick up find a stone on the ground.
There's stones.
I'm gonna
There's
pick up
pieces. There's chunks of rubble or
And look at Safira and I guess the whole group. I'm gonna gesture around the corner behind Graven.
I'm gonna start taking Orba and like pulling her around the corner here.
Okay. Pull her. Go like over
I
here.
mean, can we obscure ourselves over there?
I mean,
From
like there-
the opening.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Like here, yes. There's like a.
Yeah. And would there be room for all of us there if we
you really tucked in
squidged?
there, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna point to that area for Safira.
Oh my god.
A series of nonsensical.
Erland's gonna grab Safira,
Arm waving.
put a hand on her shoulder, and start physically moving her towards where Graven and Orba are.
Do you allow to be led?
Yes.
You the silence washes.
I'm gonna walk with her, and I'm gonna go get to the group,
Podcast.
and like,
Well, you can speak now. We're in silence.
No, we're.
You can't.
quite the
You
opposite.
can't hear you.
We can't hear each other.
Oh, well, at least you can read my lips, you idiot.
Go.
I'm gonna go with the rock, and I'm gonna get to the edge. And what if I'm looking straight out southward? What do I see?
In to
It's
make
the
room for
main.
this idiot.
Oops, it's the.
We're all about to get murdered.
Oh yeah.
It's the sort of expanse
Okay,
of
great.
the cavern there.
I want to try and I'm gonna sort of look over my shoulder, see if I see anything in the cave.
It's dark in there because
Great.
there isn't any light coming in from above.
I am going to take the rock and I want to throw it due south at that big old pillar in the middle there. How long of a throw is that? Is that deceptive?
I mean, not particularly. It's from the edge. I
Okay,
mean, from
great.
where you are, probably 50 feet. You're a little further.
Great.
Yeah, 45, 50.
I'm gonna throw it. I'm gonna throw it and try and hit the pillar.
Okay.
And then as soon as I throw it, I want to try and quietly scamper back around the corner.
Okay, give me
That's the game
a
plan.
athletics check.
Athletics. I'm gonna throw it with precision. 5.
No, he's not.
It's gonna hit something.
As you
That's all we need.
chuck it
Hits
out
himself
there,
in the face.
you immediately, in this sort of flurry of activity, you're already like thinking that you need to get the fuck out of there before you're even done throwing it. So you are in mid-throw and already moving, and because of that, it sort of spins off to the side, and it goes past the pillar a little bit, and you hear kind of like a hollow, and then like a big splash down below. And you duck into the silence kind of where
No, I
everybody else
don't
is?
want to duck into the silence then. I want to go right to the edge of the silence there and get myself up against the wall and listen to hear if I hear any movement.
Okay, give me a perception check.
13.
13, you hear a flurry.
I'm going to hide now.
So, because you waited, I need you to give me a stealth check.
18.
18. So, as Erland ducks into the silence here, once again, you immediately, all that noise and all those bat sounds, they just disappear in an instant, and everyone sort of peeking out from behind the rock. You watch as one sort of little followed by another, and then another, and then suddenly dozens of them. All of them kind of swirling up. Some of them go up and out of the cavern. Some of them are like circling around the pillars in the cavern. And after a time, you watch as some of them kind of disappear. Some of them go off into another corridor, up out of the caverns. And slowly the activity kind of slows.
We don't hear anything, but I'll look back behind us here.
Yeah.
We don't see.
Erland's gonna give everyone a wait. And I'm gonna make my way back, and I'm literally just gonna poke my ear out of the silence.
You can hear some like echoing fluttering, like not nearby, but there might be some still in the caverns here. You hear some kind of
Yeah.
off in the distance.
I'm just gonna make this hand gesture if anybody's looking at her.
This is, how long does this last?
10 minutes.
Yeah, it's coming, I mean, with the time everyone took to climb and stuff, it's almost up.
Erland's gonna start moving quietly into the
Okay,
cavern.
give me a stealth check.
Yeah, I think I'm also gonna follow.
Stealth for everybody.
Sure, yeah, you're following behind.
What did I roll? What did I roll?
10.
Was it a 3 or a 5? Doesn't matter. 9.
7.
Ooh.
18.
What was yours?
Oh, 10.
10. Okay. Everybody quickly moving out of the silence and kind of into that corridor. And you know that time may be of the essence given a possible return. This corridor, as you peer into it and look further in, it comes to a prompt dead end. And there is nothing at the end of this except a lot of guano on the ground where it looks like kind of bat shit has laid across the stone.
Get out.
Is there another cave right nearby?
Probably, but we have to get out of this one. They're gonna come back.
Yeah, quickly moving out. Quickly.
Where do you go once you quickly move out? You kind of come back out here.
I
You're
think we
looking
should-
into the cavern proper. There's this like shelf that kind of goes around the edge.
Yeah.
Alternatively, there's kind of this direction.
I'll
You could
follow
hop across some of these larger stones if you went down in this direction.
If Safira's moving around the edge, I'll follow Safira
Yeah,
around.
that's where I'm going.
Okay. You guys start to move around the edge.
Yeah, we'll follow.
Everybody following quickly.
Quietly listening.
Your footsteps on the stone in this very sort of echoing area make noise. There's no getting around. There's a little bit of, and occasionally you'll hear one of those sturges kind of just. Again, they're not. Doesn't sound like they're nearby, but certainly within this space somewhere. So you guys slowly creep along the edge here. You go further and further and further. You get to this kind of area where it looks like there's kind of a precarious little hop, skip, leap, or possible crawl, although this stone looks like it's a little compromised as well. So this is where you guys kind of get up to the edge here.
What's the distance for the jump?
Not particularly far. It's probably like a 10, 15 foot jump.
Okay, great.
Yeah, 20 feet.
Erland's gonna
15,
take
20 feet.
Erland's gonna take a couple steps back and run and leap. And I'm gonna ready myself to catch people if they need help.
Does anybody have...
I'm waiting on the other edge while she jumps, so if she falls closer to either side.
Yeah, let's just look up
jumping
jumping
works.
for everybody. Long jumping, if you have a running start, which you can in this particular instance, you can leap as much as your strength score.
How much is your strength score?
Single digits.
Oh no.
14.
I don't know why I didn't look. I just thought that was
You said that's 17 feet.
13.
Yeah, it's like between 15 and 20 feet. Sorry, what was it?
13.
13. And what was yours?
Oh, 12.
Yeah, that's okay because monks, you can jump
Yeah.
more accurately and further. So Erland leaps across and then sort of waiting. It looks like, you know, you guys think you could probably make it and not risk too much unless it was a really bad jump. Orba looks at the distance and it sort of concerns her a little bit. Not impossible, but tricky.
much do you weigh?
That's a personal question.
No, I think he's...
You can't do it.
Are you sure?
What? You two. No. You crawl. And I'm going to point to that sort of edge
It
there.
does look like you could. It's just this area looks like it is a little sort of broken down, but possible to creep along the edge.
First, then you crawl.
No, one first, then one on either side as she crawls.
Yes, that's right. I'll go first. I'm gonna
to
back
help.
up and take a running jump.
Give me an athletics check.
Oh my
Make
god.
so much noise and we're gonna fall.
I'm so scared.
Anybody have
I
inspiration?
don't
here?
even have a great athletics modifier. 3.
3. Safira takes a little jump there, and as she hits the edge, her heels kind of hit the edge, and you can see her kind of windmill arming, and Erland tries to grab her. Give me an athletics check.
Athletics check?
Yep.
I hate athletics checks. 13.
13. You grab onto her tunic, and she's like pulling in the opposite direction, and then you grab like the neck of her armor. She has like a breastplate on, and she
Yes.
pulls back. You feel it digging into the back of your neck, and you pull her successfully forward.
And I want to cover her mouth if I
But
can.
as she bashes into you, you can cover her mouth, but her armor hits the stone, and it's sort of a.
I'm gonna take Orba and put ourselves up against that wall that we're here. That
Okay,
just like and not moving.
I'm going to get up and I'm going to start moving quietly actually around the corner.
I'll,
Okay.
I'll,
Corner
I'll
there?
follow him as well.
I think it's just like a ledge there. It's like here.
Yeah, I want to get into that sort of like, yeah.
Sure, you can flatten up against the wall. It's
Yeah.
not like a true corner. And you and Graven, you and Orba are
just kinda-
flatten up
yeah,
against the wall.
flatten
there.
up against
Give
the
me
wall there.
perception checks, everybody.
Oh, shit. Dirty 20.
Natural.
What was that? Perception?
16.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
Great.
Nice.
4.
So everybody, with the exception of Safira, who just sort of the clanging noise of your breastplate. I mean, that
holding you.
you looked down, and that distance kind of rattled you a little bit, just as you're sort of pulled up against the wall. Everybody's standing still, giving as much of a sort of concentrated listen as best they can. And there are no sounds that respond to the sound of the armor.
Oh,
That's bad.
no,
That's somehow worse.
so bad. That's somehow so much worse.
Graven's like,
Nope.
it's time.
Once I hear that there's
yeah,
no
I'm
sound,
gonna start shuffling
I'm gonna
back
start moving
over so
back
that I can, yeah.
to get ready to help.
I'm gonna stay right at your booty. There. Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, Orba's gonna also, as she's crawling, if she can be mindful if there's any like larger pebbles that if she were to shift them, they would like fall and go down off the cliff. Like, can she be mindful of her steps?
Sure.
All right, so she's gonna start crawling across.
All right, so she gets down and starts to just shift along, and you can tell as soon as you start to work your way along this edge, it felt like, you know, it's on the verge of kind of collapsing in on itself. At the moment it begins to hold, at the moment it holds, and you should give me an athletics check there.
I've
Move
got
along.
my the ice hand axe ready,
Okay.
and I've got that in. I've got it in one hand here, so that I could possibly like lean out, stick it in, and grab onto
Okay.
her.
Oh no, you didn't. You did not do that.
No,
You didn't do
what
it.
is
You didn't
that?
do it.
Shut up.
It's natural.
No!
Oh my
Orba
god.
begins to crawl along the edge, and for a moment, Graven, you can feel like you're like basically touching her as she gets to a point where she's right in the middle, and she's too far for Graven to touch her, and too far for Erland and Safira on the other side.
Safira, grab my legs.
I'm
and I'm
I
jumping.
I
I'm
grab
jumping and grabbing
Erland's
Orba.
legs.
If you jump, you're gonna go down.
Oh, she's
I
holding my
am
legs.
holding his legs.
Okay.
Oh my god.
He is leaping off, and you are not anchored anywhere.
Okay, I'm trying. Okay.
Erland grabs her, Safira's onto Erland,
guys.
and all three of them.
No.
There's just a crumbling, and then
Featherfall. Can I cast Featherfall?
on the way down.
Yeah.
Sure, you can.
What
Yep.
was my
The
plan?
rocks.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's into water. You can.
Hoping that it might like quiet the noise. We're still falling.
There's gonna be a splash in the water. Yep.
Okay. Never mind. I'll save the spell slot.
Okay.
At least we're all together.
And Graven, standing there on the edge, watches all three go down, sort of futilely just out of the edge of his fingers there. And everyone comes up out of the water there.
I
What?
was gonna say like casting silence at the water right where they're gonna hit. Like if I made a bubble.
Takes 6 seconds to cast silence. And they fall faster.
That's true,
You could cast it so that when they come up, that would be 6 seconds.
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
too much noise.
Great. So And you guys immediately, you're all just kind of in the water here. You can see around you, there's a flat rock kind of just off to the south there, or one here. So there's one here, and there's one here that you guys can both kind of swim to if you wish. Where are you guys going?
Orba's gonna start swimming toward the one that you just gestured
Following
to.
This
Orba.
one here?
South. Yeah, south.
Okay.
I'm trying to listen out on my level here if I hear anything.
Give me a perception check, although they're splashing, they're swimming on their way, closer to the rock there.
Perception 14.
14. As you're sort of looking over the edge, sort of waiting to see what they're gonna do next, you hear one of those whispers that sounded very much like the same whispers as when you were sleeping the night before.
It sounds very similar to the point where it's the same tenor, it's the same...
You can't tell if it's like the same voice,
No,
the same
no,
quality,
same
like
quality,
a whispered,
okay.
kind of
But
a...
it doesn't sound any angrier than it did last night.
I wouldn't say so. No,
Okay.
It doesn't sound any... Yeah, it doesn't sound like visibly
Okay.
upset any more so than it might have
Okay.
been before.
Okay.
What do we see if we reach that rock and start climbing up
Yeah,
onto
so
it?
you guys get up to this rock here, you pull yourselves up. Dripping wet.
We need to create some separation between where we made the sound and where we are now.
So there's, just to answer her question really quickly, there's basically this kind of rock here. You looks like you could make a little climb, and then there's a bunch of these kind of little stone pillars. And the other alternative is to kind of press forward. There's a little kind of rocky step up here that you could kind of climb up.
Does that meet up with the lip that Graven will be
Yeah, so
walking
this
around?
is the lip up here. And if you climb, there's like trickles of water that are sort of working their way down. And then for the first time, because you now have sort of fallen down into this area, you look off into the distance, and there's a third sort of corridor further into the earth that this Erland did not see this one before because it was sort of under the overhang, so you were unable to see that.
I'm so sorry. Where's the other one in
It
relationship
was-
to where we are now? Not directly above it.
Where was that there? Here. So there's one up there that you were able to see, and now this one that you're able to see now that's down here at the base of the chamber.
I'm sorry, where am I?
You were up on, you're up on this lip right here.
Oh, okay. So that's just a walk continuing where
Yes,
we
like
were.
if they climbed up, it would meet up with that there.
Has the rockfall made it any easier to get across, or there's
It
just
has
missing?
done the opposite. It has made it more difficult. It seems that some of the gap has collapsed in, so it's a little bit further. Not jumpable, but a little further than it was before.
Yeah.
And then if we wanted Graven to jump and meet us where we are, and I cast Featherfall, is that like a gap? Is that a distance he could bridge?
Say that to me again?
Sorry, if he wants to jump from his ledge to the little spot we're standing on, just to make sure that we could all be together. I'm not pitching it yet. If he were to jump forward and I cast Featherfall, it would bring him kind of to that. place.
If he was aiming for that, because the Featherfall would kind of take his momentum forward a little further. Yes,
Okay.
he could theoretically do that.
Orba's gonna point to the one that's on our level at the water for her companions.
Can I see that from where I am?
Where they are?
Yeah. Can I see what she's pointing to?
What are you pointing to?
The entrance that is on water level.
Oh, yes. You can see her pointing off in the distance. It's hard to, you can't see that there's kind of a corridor.
Okay.
There's an entrance. Yeah. Turn around, yeah.
I'm pointing down towards you, and then I'm pointing along the path that you guys went.
I guess you don't want to get wet. Go past, I guess. If you want to make the jump, I'll catch you.
What?
Sorry. You started not RPing.
I was pointing.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Orba's gonna point in the direction of the path, the cliff face. Yeah, great. Go. But she's gonna keep an eye on you in case you fall. Go.
Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Why can't we ever get somewhere safely?
This is different.
It's you're gonna fall. Just
Oh my god.
That's a natural 1.
Stop it! Everybody stop.
As you take 2 big
small
steps
gaps
to
are
go for the leap,
rejoices.
you feel something slithering around your ankle.
No.
And just as you're in the gap,
This is what I
you
was worried about.
get pulled taut, and your face hits the rock face there, first of all. Take 5 bludgeoning damage.
And you lose 3 teeth.
Yeah.
And you
you'll
are
never be
also restrained at the moment. And you get pulled slowly back, and you look back, and there's a vine that has poured out and is pulling like
I've
back
got that
along
axe
the path
still.
there. You do?
And
Yeah.
I immediately grab at the leg that it's got, and it
Give me an attack roll. It's with disadvantage. You're restrained. Shit. So all you guys saw from the bottom was Graven like face plant against the rock there.
The disadvantage attack with I believe just my strength modifier is 21.
Great. It would be
plus proficiency.
Yes,
right?
with proficiency.
21.
That will hit.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll damage. This is like the ice axe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just give you a standard hand axe.
4 probably.
Yeah, hand axe is 1d6 plus your strength.
Oh shit. That's like just as good as my mace. 5 plus strength modifier, 7 damage.
7 shit. You hit it, and the rock giving it a nice, like, as opposed to on Earth where it might like sink into the earth a little bit, it provides a nice like cutting board surface, and you just cut it, and it immediately snaps free, and the part that sort of that isn't attached to you now immediately sort of retreats into the cave wall.
I want to see
wall
exactly where it went in. Can I watch it for a second?
There's oops. So you were right here. It basically disappeared like into the wall there somewhere.
Okay. I'm gonna immediately like grab it, like unfurl it from my leg, and like kind of roll to where they can see me and like hold it up.
Give me a medicine check.
Okay.
Oh my
18.
god.
18. As you're unfurling it from your ankle there and it's sort of your calf, it kind of wraps twice around. As you pull it off, you hold it up, and as you're holding it up to them, you see that a couple of the spines are missing from it, and you look back down at your calf, and they are like embedded in your calf there, like sort of blood trickling down the back of your calf. A couple spines like barbed, sort of in there. Really good.
I only took the 5 bludgeoning. That's the only damage I took.
Sorry, you should have taken just some piercing damage as well.
Damn it.
Shut
3
up.
piercing damage.
So my prognosticator's hull is on piercing right now.
Yes.
And
1 piercing damage.
Yeah. Does it matter if I'm wielding the shield?
No, you're attuned to it.
Yeah. So 1 piercing damage.
And then you
I
roll for that.
re-roll.
What do you want?
Probably piercing again, which is a 2.
It's gonna be necrotic.
7.
Oh.
Acid. All right. Everybody be quiet.
So you see Graven hold up the sort of tendril of vine there up over the edge. And he's got like blood kind of running down from his nose there.
Or was rallying you to just
Kinda
pointing to keep going.
Tossing it like just to the side there. Would it be an item slot if I stuck it in my bag?
Yeah, it's pretty big.
All right, never mind. What if I see spines on it?
There are some left. Yeah, they didn't all break. So some of them are missing because they're sort of stuck in your calf there.
Yeah.
But yes, it has like thorn.
Would it take more than a second or two to take like just 1 or 2 of those spines off?
You could try to do that.
You already have 3 of them in your calf.
That's true.
I'm gonna try to take like 2 or 3
On the go.
spines off.
Give me a dexterity check, just a straight.
Don't even have to put them in your bags. They
No,
don't take up a spell slot if it's in your body. Exactly.
Plus, 7.
7.
So glad you're
As
on
you're starting to try and do it, you don't hurt yourself, but you can tell that when you try to pull it off, it pulls it apart. Like it has a weird sort of gummy texture that you're not able to find any usable spines for it.
I can then quickly brush off and throw it to the side and take a look around again and then try to jump.
Okay, with each step this time, just that like those thorns in your calf there.
If it's
You're
limiting
already
me-
jumping, but
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's limiting your jump.
Okay.
It just is painful when you're
Yeah.
stepping up. But if you like push through the pain, you
Yeah.
can do so. Give me an athletics check.
Can you push through the pain?
I can push through the pain.
Can you? Can you? You maybe can.
12.
12. And you slowly watch Graven's legs slide up over the edge and onto the other side there.
Okay, Orba's taking her backpack, she's putting it over her head, and she's getting back into the water quietly. Like she's dipping herself in.
Okay, like you're lowering yourself down.
Yeah.
As you get back into the water, it was a little frantic the first time, but it's quite cold down here. The sun isn't kind of getting all the way in, so it's very cold, and the brackish water is difficult to see. You lower yourself down, and you kind of keep lowering, sort of waiting to see if there's a bottom. no bottom as far as you can kind of easily reach, so certainly deeper than
If we fell from
4 or
higher,
5
we would have
feet.
been okay.
Okay, so Orba's trying to like hold her bag in her hand above one, and then use her left hand to kind of like swim through.
I'll mimic her. If I see her doing that, I'm gonna get in the water too.
Yeah, same. But I wanna dunk my head under and see if I can see anything.
Okay, give me a perception check.
18. Sorry, geez, 19.
19. As you're dunking your head under, there's a little bit of light coming in from overhead, but the water's again sort of kind of an off greenish, like dull color that's hard to see through. There's a lot of sediment in the water, so it's difficult to go see a long distance. However, that fact that there's a lot of sediment in the water also makes it very clear when something's disturbing the sediment in the water. You see Orba and Safira who are moving, and you can see like the little swirls, almost like you're in the ocean. You can see the sand kind of swirling, but that sediment in the water is moving, and you see them moving around Orba, around Safira, sort of nothing out of the ordinary. But then you look off to your right, and there's something else kind of disturbing the sediment in the water.
How far away?
Probably at the other end of this cavern, so
Where we're going?
maybe like 100 feet away or
Towards
something.
where we're going?
I thought, are you guys headed to meet up with Graven, or are you headed over to that other
Meet up with
opening?
Graven, I thought.
Oh, I thought we were going.
I was heading toward the opening.
Oh,
Okay,
okay,
so
I was
yes,
following
where
her.
Orba is headed.
Okay. I'm gonna poke my head up. Change of plans. To the left. There's something in the water.
What?
Towards the steps.
Oh yeah, Orba's gonna start swimming.
You start to swim in this direction over here.
As Orba's swimming, I'm gonna dunk my head under and see if I see it moving towards us, if I see it treading water.
Give me a perception check with advantage, given that you noticed exactly where it is.
Okay, 15.
15. It seems like it's moving generally in your direction. However, it doesn't seem like it's like
Going.
Yeah, like moving aggressively in your direction. In addition to that, the swirling sediment allows you to see like swirling around a finger and another finger, like two hands like stroking forward, and then an arm. But there's no like solid figure that you can see. It looks like something humanoid in shape, but invisible, and the sediment is moving around it in the
No,
water.
you little
So
bitch.
something-
Whoever this is. Oh.
And all you're seeing is the sediment, and at one point, like, it swirls around what looks like a head shape, and then you see a couple legs, like, kicking behind, and it's only because of this water that's filled with this substance that you can even see the outline of this creature.
Okay, I'm going to, can I see Graven from where I am?
Yeah,
I mean,
you can see him up along the
I'm
edge.
like watching you guys.
Yeah, Graven, because you can move. You can move very quickly
And I'm
along
gonna
the rock
gesture
here.
for Graven to, like, with my hand to quickly run and meet us down here.
I'm on my way.
Moving along the ledge. You
Watching
get
my
over-
steps.
Yeah, you
watching
get
for
over-
vines.
Okay, you get over to this area where the water's kind of trickling down, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much where they would climb up to meet you. You know, if
Okay.
they climb.
I'm gonna
up.
gesture for him to come
Oh,
down.
I'm gonna start looking for good handholds, looking for places that might need the axe.
Give me an athletics check, and Safira and Orba as well. Athletics as you get to the edge there and pull yourself up.
And as I'm going periodically, I want to check to see if it's where it
God
is.
damn it.
Are you still swimming towards?
I am
them?
still. I'm trying to yeah.
Okay,
As I'm trying to move forward,
continually ducking under is slowing you down.
that's how close is it to me?
I mean, it's slowly closing in. Like it was 100 feet to start. The next time you dunked your head under 70 feet. It's kind of slowly working its way closer and closer.
That's fine.
Okay.
11 on my
11.
athletics.
15.
3. Okay. Orba gets up, and Safira tries to put a hand up, and immediately the wet rock kind of slips off, and you
Yeah, can I
reach
yeah.
down, pull her up, and you can hear Graven above you moving a little faster than he is carefully. At one point, Orba looks up, and one rock kind of just misses your face as Graven sort of let a loose stone fall all the way down to the bottom. And you finally get pulled up by Orba, and Graven's right there pulling you up out of the water. Erland dunked his head one more time. You look off to your right, more swirling sediment, and it's maybe 25 feet away from you.
And how close am I to the edge there?
10 feet away from the edge here.
Can we see anything other than him down there?
No.
No.
And he said there was something in the water, but you
Yeah.
can't see any. What are you doing right now?
Am I close enough to get my bag to the land to toss my bag?
Yeah.
Okay. Taking out a potion of water breathing.
Okay.
Tossing my bag.
Do not. Don't do that right now.
Safira was the last one. Give me an athletics check. Or acrobatics as you attempt to
Okay,
catch it.
fuck's sake. Natural 20?
Natural 20 immediately catches the bag, tosses down to the side.
I'm drinking the potion of water breathing, and I'm trying to grapple this thing while I can see it because I have there's sediment around it.
Okay, you go back under the water. Give me a.
Right, because if it comes up, right, I want because I can see where it is in the water.
You
correct?
can certainly get a general sense of where it is.
What am I doing? Athletics?
Yeah, contested athletics.
12.
17. So you reach out and you touch this thing, and it feels like skin, but like slimy, like wet skin, and it has a little bit of a kind of rubbery texture. And you go to grapple it, but not knowing what it is, you grab it like around the wrist, which would be a very good spot to grab like a human. It's difficult to kind of get out of that grip, but immediately its wrist kind of just flexes and it slips out of your grip just like that.
Yikes.
Okay.
Slips away, and then the sediment kind of swirls, and it looks like it's going deeper, kind of below you.
I'm gonna follow it down and try and grab a leg.
Going deeper down, and it gets darker very, very quickly. Reaching out one more time. Give me an athletics check with disadvantage.
He's disappeared too.
Yeah, he disappeared under the water.
Graven, can you throw some light down there and help him?
That was a
13.
natural 20 and then a 19.
A natural 20 and a 19.
Yeah, sorry, I rolled a natural 20 and I rolled an 18. If it's an athletics check, a 19.
Okay, you reach out and you grab, and you have something in your grip. You don't know what it is.
Okay, I am gonna try and, with my legs, frog my way back to the surface.
You cannot do that.
Okay.
It's too heavy.
Okay, I want to try and, can I, if
Right
I
now
have its
you're looking-
leg, I want to try and get more of it.
You
so I
guys
get
can
a-
see some like disturbing of the water over top.
So I get like a full grapple
like
on
pulling
it.
it up
hopefully.
a little
pulling
bit.
it up towards
Okay,
me.
give me an athletics check. You can do it with advantage because you have it grappled actually.
Okay, 16.
Okay, 16. You start to pull it closer and closer, and it feels like a leg. Like it feels like a humanoid kind of creature, and then something kind of touches your hand that's grabbing onto it. I need you to give me a Constitution saving throw.
If he's fucking around this long down there, I'm putting my bag down and I'm and my shield, and
Okay.
I'm jumping in towards
you guys
him.
watch him.
Don't jump in, just wait for a moment.
4 on the Constitution
You have to
save.
wait.
Constitution save.
Can't all drown.
I can breathe for an hour.
You are poisoned. The poisoned condition.
Okay.
You have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks.
Shit.
So what it does is it kind of grabs you, and it doesn't quite scratch you, but it like grips you very tight, and it feels like almost like its nails are digging in, and something seeps in just a little bit, and it sort of disorients you, and you look around in the water, and the water's kind of getting a little warped, and it's just that poison that seems to be kind of seeping into you there.
Do I still have the grab on?
Yeah, you kind of have its like thigh, like you pulled it
Yeah,
closer. Yep, you do.
Okay,
And it's flopping around.
I'm going to. Okay, I'm gonna. Can I attack underwater? Sure. Okay, I'm gonna do a unarmed attack on it underwater.
Give me an attack roll. This is with
Disadvantage.
Yep.
I'm swimming towards. Can I see him down there?
No, it is
17 to
dark.
hit.
17 to hit. That will hit, I think. Yeah, that will hit.
Okay. So that does 5 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Constitution saving throw, please.
12.
Fails.
Okay.
It's stunned. For 6 seconds now. So I want to get a full, in that 6 seconds, I want to try and get a full grip on it.
Okay.
And start kicking my way upwards.
At this point, Graven can kind of see just the outline of something. You reach out and grab, and you see that it's Erland. As it gets closer to the surface, some of the light is coming through.
Grab Graven's hand
Okay.
so he can help pull me up, and I have this thing fucking.
Back up.
You break the surface of the water, you guys see them. Erland seems to be clutching something that you cannot see, and he gets kind of over to the edge of the rock there, and the stun has taken its course. So it is going to attempt to break the grapple.
Give him a
on the rock,
help?
though?
Yes,
Yeah.
give me, he's with disadvantage because of poison, but helped because of Graven. Give me a straight roll against the grapple here.
Athletics?
Yep, athletics check. 13?
7.
And just as Gerland gets out, you're seeing him like his arms around something, and then all of a sudden, like it gets very small, and you feel like a.
Can I do another
slipping
attack
sensation
on it with a
yep.
hand?
Yep. Disadvantage.
Fucking 11 to hit.
You swing wildly at invisible sort of air, and you find no purchase.
Because I have 2 actions, 2 attacks. Can I take a second one?
Yes, you may. What do you want to do during
An
that?
is this an action or a reaction?
To what? What are you trying to do?
As in, do I just get a melee, or could I try to cast a spell at it?
You could try and cast a spell.
Okay.
10 to hit.
Yep, that'll miss.
Am I within touch of it? Do I know where it is?
So you saw that Erland was holding something and
Yeah.
it slipped away.
Okay.
What are you trying to do? What's the touch?
Inflict wounds.
Okay.
Touch.
You reach out to the spot where you think that it is. This is an attack roll, right? It's a spell attack roll.
Yeah.
It's with disadvantage, but you can do it.
Can I use a key point?
Yeah, I'll try.
Go ahead, disadvantage attack roll.
Oh my god.
How we weren't gonna fuck these people
Melee
up.
spell attack. Yep. Disadvantage.
Yep.
16.
That'll hit. Roll
There we
for
go.
damage.
Come on.
Okay, I'm using my Flurry of Blows key point here.
Okay.
3d10.
Disadvantage, yeah?
Yeah.
Fuck me, 9 to hit.
That'll miss.
Happening.
Natural 20 again. Okay, here we go. 23 to hit.
That'll hit.
Whoa, 9, 8, and 3 is 17, 20, right? Yeah, 20 necrotic.
Non-lethal attack for me, by the way.
Okay.
And that did 6 bludgeoning damage. And how does like falling prone work in the water?
It doesn't,
doesn't
do anything
do
at the
anything?
moment. It would just be sort of limp in the water.
Okay.
So, Graven reaches out, sort of not even knowing if he's going to hit, but you feel the touch of something and immediately pour that energy into it.
Okay, it can't take a reaction until the end of its next turn, whatever that means.
Okay.
Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. 8.
Fails, stunned again.
Stunned.
Grabbing it, and I want to try and get it up on land now.
I'll help him.
Pull something invisible up. You watch as the water kind of pours off of it, and it's making this like sort of dome of water that slowly moves off to the sides. And then once it's up onto the rock, you see like a wet outline, but nothing sort of there in the center.
And do you have manacles or anything? Okay, I'm gonna just try and get a really, in those 6 seconds, like right on top of it, pin it down. Help me, hold it down.
What are we doing?
Holding, we're trying to figure out what this thing
What
attacking us
this?
is.
It wasn't attacking
It was
us.
moving towards us, yes.
I'm gonna toll the dead on it.
Don't, we need to, knock this, okay?
Give me an attack roll.
It's not an attack roll. It's a wisdom saving throw.
It's a wisdom saving.
How do we make it visible?
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
11.
That'll fail.
Give me the damage.
2d12. 9 plus 8. Oh my god. 17.
I don't have anything to restrain
As Graven tolls the dead and the bell rings out in its mind, Erland's holding it as tight as possible, and there was so much resistance before as you were moving up out of the water, and then nothing. And you sort of loosen ever so slightly, and a figure starts to form as the invisibility kind of wears off, a kind of humanoid figure. And that's where we're gonna end.
No!
As you guys have captured, killed one of these creatures that has been lurking in the caverns here. We're gonna find out what you guys have caught.
I get it.
It was gonna attack. I wanted to attack before it attacked us.
No, no one was gonna attack us.
It was moving towards us.
It's been stroking our dicks all episode.
I don't know if that's.
We don't know if that was that.
It
might be.
It's a different invisible thing with fingers.
It was far away.
No, wait, no, but
You
the
think
other
it's
one
been
wasn't
the thing
slimy.
the whole time? It touched me
That one
all the way
had
up there,
slime.
and then all of a sudden it was deep in the water?
Sure.
I mean, it was in the water. It was wet. Like the thing.
I thought it was like amphibious, like it had like a mucus.
Could have been,
Okay.
but something that was like when something touched you, you weren't around water. Like it was like it could have been out of the water for a while.
Yeah, well,
So
frogs are still slimy when they're dry.
it's not a
Is
frog.
it a frog?
You guys are pretty
trying to kill
confident
it. I
it's
was
not a
trying to-
frog.
Damn, I thought it was a
Incapacitate
big
it.
frog.
Before it attacked us. No, you didn't have any choices here.
I had some clutch damage rolls, by the way. I don't see anybody congratulating me.
I'm sorry, it all happened so fast. and
Picked
you're
right
so
up
slow.
from that guiding
know
bolt.
what we were
and-
killing.
Yeah.
So
What
we're
the
gonna figure
hell?
out what we've caught next episode.
Are you gonna take a picture holding it? Like,
No.
So look good on my Tinder profile.
No. Oh.
in the Sagging Caverns.
What the fuck,
Erland, you're just
guys?
Catching a glimpse of it there, swimming through some of the murky water, and you were able to pinpoint it.
The owl's gonna come over the top and just be like, guys.
What the hell did I say? What did I say? I gave you one rule.
Orba and Safira kind of watching on with disbelief and confusion and horror, sort of.
I know,
decided.
I'm more-
So you guys are
I don't know
basically.
what's happening.
You guys are all on the
Those
edge
vines.
here.
Fuck your vines. I mean, yeah, those vines.
So Erland and Graven are sort of down here on this ledge, and then Orba and Safira were just
How many
like
potions
up
of
a
water breathing do we
little
have?
bit further.
I have 2 now.
Not enough now.
No, that one's mine. You do not get extra water.
No, I mean, I
breathing.
literally have 2 in my possession.
Yes, because one of those is mine.
So now we do
Yeah, I'm
not
saying
have
how
enough
many in
to get
total
in
do
and
we
out of
have?
the shade.
7.
We had 2 per, now we have...
Now we have
Right.
one.
You have 1 per.
You are not. You're gonna drown on the way out.
Listen, I don't want to
That's
drown.
gonna be your own goddamn fault.
I was protecting my friends from the thing approaching
It's gonna
us.
be your own
I get it.
goddamn fault.
I was protecting my friends from the thing moving towards
It
us.
didn't make an attack.
I get it.
Towards us.
That it was moving in the same direction.
No,
I'm on
It
your
was
side.
like if someone
Thank
passed
you.
you on the street and you were like, "Oh, he was trying to fight me." It's like, what do you mean? Because he
If
passed you
someone
on the
was
street?
running directly towards me
Also,
on
this
the street.
metropolitan area known as the Sagging Caverns, just like walking by them on the street.
Where your fellow pedestrian feels the needs to be invisible.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, I can't. I don't. Look at
we
I
will
don't even
debate
know
the
anymore.
merits
Oh.
of the
even
preemptive
know.
strike. But that is where we're going to pick
So
up.
it's
next.
preemptive. That's why you comes first. It comes first.
I don't know why you're not writing this down.
God, I hate all of you. Okay, let's thank some people
Oh,
who are
God.
trying to murder innocent people. Here we go. FNF resubscribe. Betty White. Stop.
He's unconscious.
Betty White, and then there was a...
Yeah.
Please.
Betty's with us.
Spirit of Betty White.
Oh, God.
Betty White subscribed. Jeff Powers at 100 bits. Jay Brownie did 200 bits. Jeremiah gave it a sub. Tilt Controls ABK resubscribed. Den3265 subscribed. And then Ali Slayer did 200 bits. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Raiders, if you're still around.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this descent into the caverns here.
Oh, yes.
A couple potential, 2 more potential sort of corridors, caverns to look into next time once we figure out what we've got here on our hands.
It was related.
And once we
Give me a gold's aquatic.
dig a little deeper, maybe we'll find some of those rewards that were mentioned in the shit list contract.
God.
Didn't want to maybe that I invisible bitch.
What did you think was going to happen? You were going to be like, hey.
I was gonna grab it. He'd be like, no.
Hey, show me your face.
I would say something right off the bat that you guys do notice as this was happening. It's not impossible, but you would know that like magical invisibility where like you cast a spell, like can be interrupted.
Yeah.
I was thinking
like Marcus.
Yes, like a concentration, but something that just has like a natural invisibility might not be subject to those kinds of.
I was waiting for when he first hit it for it to...
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
Did not.
God damn.
So that means he's even more of an asshole.
Well, you can always join us in the Discord where Pocono should be creating a channel that is specifically about this episode. Tell us what the fuck do you think this thing is? God.
All right, everybody.
Oh
Thank
my
you guys
God.
so much. Have a
Liberal
wonderful
boy.
week. We have plenty more to explore next time on Tabletop Notch. We'll pick it up then. We'll see you later, everybody.
Good night. We love you.